depth. 20 and 10, a 366 ACS to kick things off. Laz,
Okay.
he only died 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, we even noticed Sarai Depp had a little smirk after his multi-gaze.
Yeah. At least at the
Which
start
one?
of the game, he was the first one
All
where
of
he
them?
was just chasing down multiple members of GE on A main. He had like a, you know, he got like that first 3K of his.
lupa
Really was very strong.
ganti.
And this is where it
Aduh.
gets very interesting for Zeta Division
Sabar.
because I felt like because they had such a concrete
Lupa
approach
ganti.
to how they were facing global in this one, and this is a great example for the highlights, is
Whoa.
that massive mid control utilizing the strength of the quick contact of that Phoenix. There was really no answer here from global esports. You saw that they were trying to match the speed of Zeta Division. They didn't work out. They started going the other direction where they were trying to, okay, let's have Polby go for those lurks. It worked maybe that one round. And then after that, Zeta Division just said, we'll do something slightly different and still, you know, counter you out every single turn that you do.
I mean, the casters are kind of talking about it during that. It felt like oftentimes Global had a decent
dapat dua.
idea of exactly what Zeta wanted to do, and it goes back to that pistol.
Telat sih,
You kind
udah
of
lah.
read that was going to be set up, that there was going to be this, you know, crunch coming through, but they just couldn't deal with it. It just felt like at every twist and turn, they were just getting diffed, and I don't like having to throw terms like that around because it feels like it's
Dibantai situ sih.
hopeless for the other team, but it
13-1,
really Here in this
gilo.
opening map, Zeta were just in the driver's seat.
Pembantaian.
Timeouts called, all of that. Any adjustments they could have made, it was just perfectly counteracted by Zeta.
Yeah, it was a really dominant win there, and
Pembantaian
people
sih
brought it
itu
up
sih.
last year when
Itu sih
Chamber
pembantaian
kinda
sih.
came back, like got slightly
Yeah.
upped again.
Aduh.
When last game went onto Chamber on Fracture, that's during LCQ. That's when they started looking really hot again. I mean, I don't think it's just
Wah,
because Laz
itu
on Chamber, but it
itu meta
seems to
baru
be a
kan,
trend,
apa
there.
Viper
Now,
sama
Icebox is meant
Harbor
to-
di satu.
I'm not
anjir.
completely surprised that Global Esports has picked this, considering how Zeta looked on Icebox against Team Secret a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it just feels like maybe they're gonna back on the fact that they stole a couple of
Jadi
rounds away
satu.
from, you know, when they were playing on those icebox maps. So maybe they're just banking on that fact. I don't know.
Smoke bull
Yeah, I
jadi
mean, even
satu.
with Zeta, you know, losing the Secret on that map, I mean, Secret played a really close game versus GE on Icebox. So I still feel pretty good for Zeta coming into this one. They at least have one of the wins under their belt here with a 33% win rate out of kickoff. It's just going to be, you know, how much improvement has really come into that defender side for both of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams did need work on their Icebox, so I'm pretty sure we're going to see different agent compositions even later on. But before any of that, guys, I know it's been a while since last year when we
Okay.
had our VCT Pacific Games. It's Achilles' favorite thing to do, and the games are back, and this time we even have a ranking system.
Yeah.
So I know you haven't played these games yet, but you like games, Askar. I know you like games. So how this works is production has put a question out, not just for us, but for you guys at home, those of you guys in the audience, and for those of us who got our predictions correct, we get a point. And if you lose, you lose a point. You lose a rank, actually. So that's how this is going to play out. All right, the question
Oh iya lupa.
is
Aduh,
which
ya
team
udahlah
will
apalah.
win the second half
Normal
pistol round
normal latensi.
Second half pistol
on
round.
Icebox. It's very specific. It's
This is us flying so blind, but okay. You know what? I'm ready.
so
got the-
yeah. We got props. We got everything for this. So second half pistol round. Are you guys?
Yeah.
Are we gonna see the audience answer, or do you guys? Okay,
I
let's
think we
give
might
our
catch up with
answers.
it later, but
Ready?
yeah.
In
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
PRX
Alright.
besok kalau nggak salah.
This is a bit of a punt, I think, either way, just given that we're predicting for second half pistol round, so we don't get to see anything.
Tanggal
But the way that Zeta's
tanggal
playing right
7.
now, they're just aim diffing the ever-loving hell out of GE, and if that's going to continue going into the second
Tapi
map,
jam 6
I just
jam
don't
6
think Zeta is
tapi
really just gonna
yang
have to
PRX
get back.
jam
How
6.
about you, Asra?
No, I can
Habis
keep
bukaan.
themselves at 100%. There's that one breaking
Ntar ya.
point
Coba aku lihat.
that's the second pistol round.
Biar
Look,
lebih
they used
yakin.
to be. Last year, they were the pistol princes. You know, they were the ones that were not dropping pretty much any.
Iya,
pistols.
biar besok lawan T1
Not since then.
They had
jam
Maybe they
6
could bring
jam 6
some of
sore.
that magic back.
I
Maybe they
believe.
could try to get some more pistol round wins here. But again, I think that this is tough to call. But given the form right now, you just gotta go with Zeta.
Yeah, my vote's because Deb. Deb. I think that's the only reason why. But I mean, I don't think that really determines, you know, the outcome of Icebox completely.
But here's the other question: I mean, Carla said that they had surprises for us today, not
Yes.
necessarily just for Sunset. So I'm curious if there's more adjustments to be had, and if this is going to be a different
Kenapa tuh?
Icebox comp, or if they do stick with the Harbor, because I could see Chamber being played on Icebox.
Oh, absolutely. It is a completely.
Because Laz, give that man a headhunter. Maybe not an operator today. That was a little bit rough. Couple whiffy shots in there, but give that man a headhunter. And he's gonna be clipping some damn heads. So I think just make a pivot. Just put a pivot operator today.
Well, I think it's up to global. I mean, this is different than our. What, do we think it's going to be a 2-1 kind of game or a 2-0 kind of game, Master Eye? You're holding the thing, so I.
Yeah.
I think it's
Biar
either
on time, biar on time.
They can win the second half pistol round, but then it could still be a 2-0.
Okay, fair. Oh, yeah, I didn't see
Biar
that.
on time, biar on time.
You were
How
so easily
easily
swayed.
convinced.
Oke.
As you said that, I thought that was my out.
Yeah. Okay. But what do you
there you
guys
go.
actually think?
I think this is going to be a 2-0. I mean, as Paper Thin was saying kind of at the end there, that is sort of the kind of loss that you would prefer to have, or at least that teams say that they prefer to have. I don't even hold this anymore. That they prefer to have, because when you are blown out of the water, it's really easy to you know, deny the
Ya semoga mainnya nggak cepet lah ya, mainnya
You
cepet.
say like, okay,
Ya.
they dipped us there, let's just
Cuman
refocus
sampai jam
and
4
go
doang.
I think the global, they certainly
Jam
have
5,
that,
cuma
but
sampai jam
right
5
now,
doang.
with how fired up Zeta do look and how accurate they're being, I feel like this is going to be 2-0.
Itu sih kecepatan
Yeah, I
sih.
mean, we are gonna go to
13-1
Egypt
sih
now, so we're
cepet
gonna find out
banget
what's
sih.
gonna
Itu
happen. We're gonna see
buru-buru banget
Chamber
Zeta.
Again, and Asarai. I mean, how
Oh.
you feeling about this? This is,
Oh,
this is different.
oh.
Masa.
Oh, I really like this. I
The
feel like
Icebox
underrated pick
solo.
on Icebox has been Gecko, so strong on those angles with the dizzy. So I'm really liking this. The only thing that has changed on the flip side here for Global Esports is that they're not using the KO anymore. It's Zeta Division's actually pick up.
2 Sentinel lawan 2.
I mean, I was
Oh.
curious to see how he's going to be looking here with this Gecko, but I mean, so much utility, so much great post plant, but as well as just you know, being able to try to get the diffusers off because you have the wingman into the mix, the entry onto the site alongside the dizzies. I think that this could be huge for Zeta.
I agree. Let's see what other surprises Carlisle has up his sleeve. We're gonna go to our casters, Quack and Paper Thin.
Gelo
Well, is this going to
Icebox
be
dong.
huge or is this going to be slightly different? I guess we'll just have to find out because it is kind of interesting. You do have that Gecko being brought out from both
Tumben
sides.
Icebox nggak
but
di-ban.
also lightning
Biasanya
fast on
Icebox
the
di-ban.
Sage.
Yeah, that's really interesting to me. You know, it used to be that, you know, you're using that Sage to set up your plants and those kind of things, but because of the wingman, teams didn't really feel like they necessarily needed to have that Sage, because Sage on this map felt like it was basically a one trick where you're just there for the wall, and then you're just hoping that your shots are crazy good. I mean, yeah, the slow orbs help a little bit, and the heals can help in certain situations, but
1080
the rest
kan
too,
itu,
but
udah 1080.
definitely the wall was kind of the bigger piece of the puzzle, but they're going to try to feed the alt orbs early here. 2 lightning fast on that Sage, looking to try to buy a quick res if possible, and not much that Zeta can do about that. Now, on Zeta's side of the coin, this is what a lot of teams are kind of running on this map now with these double initiators, the heavy flash comp where you're really able to control so much space. With the extra verticality that's available to you on a map like Icebox, because you have the room to throw the dizzy up and do things like that, some over flashes from your KO, it really gives you a lot of like space-taking ability to really make it
Anjir,
difficult for your opponents
buat
to play
buat
anti-flash or
ngeclearin
to,
backside-nya
you
anjir.
know, turn the flashes or things like that, because it feels like there's just this volley
Multiple,
coming.
yes.
Exactly.
Very attack heavy. It's great for retakes. It's even better on the attacking side. So that could be why Global Esports is kind of hanging so far back, especially on the A side too. But then again, it just brings us back. It's a bit of a full-on pistol battle,
Ih,
pistol
timing.
firefight on this first round. Global has made their way through. Euron gets all of that juicy information. Hey guys,
Timingnya gitu
we're hearing a lot
banget,
of footsteps.
gila.
Just Watch out for this. Dizzy gets sent out. Depp tries to reposition. But three
Langsung
players
turun
drop
3 orang
him. He's not quite able to
gitu.
land the shots. Yuran crouches down, able to cut down Blaze King, but not quite enough to fend off the rest of Global Esports. Rust reach out to the head, and now that's going to be down to Laz. The wall comes up, defuse. Polvy's just taking all the way through. Lightning fast trying to go back and forth. What about They get the shot. He jumps up with the zip line, and he saves the round, but not quite enough.
Anjir,
Global
nge-clutch,
Esports
anjir.
manages to stick defuse, and
Gila.
That's absolutely insane, Laz. You genius.
Yeah.
I mean, that wall also probably not exactly placed where he wanted it. He probably wanted to completely cut off that angle. But still, didn't matter. I mean, this is a really interesting setup here. Like, teams are really on this B site,
Anjir.
especially with the Gecko able to give you these plants, where if you're kind of given the site for free, you want to push Snowman. Oh no. I mean, Laz still though, like absolutely
Jelas.
just crazy stuff. But
Jadi
look,
tapi.
yeah, GE gets the round, but
Tapi duitnya banyak sih
dang,
itu.
that's so smart from him. But you wanted to take that deep snowman plant, and GE really able to handle that part of it nicely. It's just a little bit of a fumble there on the Sage, and Olvi doing stuff with the Outlaw.
Well, that's just the outlaw stuff, you know. 2 shots.
Ya emang
Completely
bagus sih
shattered.
Bang
You
sih
don't
kalau
have
kalau di
audio.
ronde
There's the third.
apa
Maybe
hal
get a couple more
hal apa
off,
namanya
but then
Eko
Will
gini
shots over to
pakai
Classic. Russ coming in to bail him out. He jumps forward and Classic right
dapat
clicks.
4 anjir.
That's going to be Global Esports securing the pistol and the subsequent round now.
Si Zeta
Yes.
dapat 4 anjir.
Very, very good stuff here with the Outlaw. I mean, why you really are going to see teams, especially in Pacific, dive into this weapon is because of how powerful it can be. On a map like Icebox, it's essentially an operator in this round, so you're able to really kind of do the same kind of plays, even better, because it is 2 shots instead of 1. Makes it so challenging on this attacker's team to try to buy any space, but now you gotta dig in, and even because you have to go for the full armor here, just a Guardian.
Oke, harusnya
Definitely trying to make sure that Zeta can come back into the game. But for now, it just has been Global Esports trying to play around things and trying to retain alt orb control. I mean, look at how Polvy's managed to sneak all the way up on top of Nest right now. Bit of a alert from Laz.
oke, nice.
Manages to
Nice,
catch him
Laz.
down. The rest of Zeta have already made their way up to the B side, along with Little Crow. They get the spike down. Lightning Fast, a bit of a shot through. Not sure how much more they can get. Trying to go off the zip lines now. Lightning Fast with nothing but a shot. Unfortunately, gets burned by the mosh pit.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
great anticipation there by Yuran to put that mosh pit in a spot where he kind of recognized that likely Lightning Fast was going to get pushed off that
Yuran
angle,
udah ada
from
ulti.
the top, and
Tapi
yeah, really nice
musuhnya
there.
Jet sama
Laz did a great
Gekko,
job
Jet sama Gekkonya udah
the
ada
attempted alert
ulti
from
dong.
Polvy. You feel like he's always good on one side of the map. Yudadon with that Guardian. I mentioned it earlier that, you know, just a little bit
Kasihan anjir.
of economic
Kena
fallback into
kena
the
molinya
fact that
Gekko.
you had to use full armors, right, because of that Outlaw, caused that gun to come out. He's still very good with it. Still crisp, picking up right where he left off on
Anjir,
Sunset.
nggak jadi.
We pulled you with the operator this time around, though. Zeta on the attack, still trying to get a read of how they might approach things. For the past couple rounds now, they've gotten a little bit slow. But now that they've got the Thrash, a little bit more wiggle room to push forward. Global Esports, though, actually hanging back, making use of screens, making use of rafters, and that's just going to be a little bit tougher for Zeta to hold. You got Polvy with the blades now. Lightning Fast, first shot down. Snaps to the top of pipes, and that's going to be Polvy up in the air. We've got Benkai coming in now. And that's going to be down to Sugar Zero trying to stop
Iya,
this
dibredet,
push, but it's
dibredet,
not quite going to happen. They knew where he was.
And they find a really good timing, right as, you know, Zeta feels like maybe they've got some comfort to try to put the
Let's
spike
win
down.
gitu
Is
tapi.
when GE re-aggresses and strikes and just completely catches Zeta a bit off guard, where they're just not quite ready. Lightning Fast has been looking really crisp so far on this map. The Sheriff's
ini
previously just as good here with that
Dapat
Vandal
dua
down
kepala
to
dia.
5 HP, no problem. Russ there holding the smoke angle, and there you go, some smiles now for GE. Now they're starting to feel it. Yeah, they're starting to look a lot crisper. You've got Zeta on the back foot economically once again, where they're into a few Sheriffs, a Bulldog, but the buy is
Half,
very
yeah.
weak.
Should be enough for Global Esports to
Zeta
take
house
things
sih.
home. And that's just kind of what we were
Model
talking about
gimana
from the previous map too, right? Global Esports, you know, it's not all doom and gloom. You come in with a clean slate, mental reset. They just might be able to push us into a third map. But look at the
Oh, nice.
quality of utility from Zeta Division. They really want the site.
And you're on
Smokernya
so
udah
ready
mati.
for where Polvi would have to escape to.
Aduh, nggak dapet.
Top of the wall now. But Global Esports, MX is able to get those shots down, but Hironon, okay. Still able to kind of stand his ground. Couple of kills going his way, but he's got a couple more targets to hit. Not expecting Russ up on top, so that's going to be Global with another round.
Yeah, it's not a bad round here for Zeta on an eco, but at this point, you know, things are starting to
Dibalas
slide in the
gini,
wrong
anjir.
direction for them. Now you've got to have the no command for Hirodon. This is nice
Pembalasan gak ada
position, trying to
icebox.
cover as best as they can for Polvi, but using that wall against them again. I'd say if there's anything to fault GE for, which there isn't much, they've been playing very, very good. Some of those walls have worked against them. You know, Zeta's
Bentar,
able to kind of
apa
take advantage of
webcamku
it, but
pindah ya?
other than that, you know, lightning fast. His shooting's been crisp. Polvi's been a real nuisance on that A side at times, especially with those sniper rifles in hand. And now he's going to be taking a peek down mid. Laz, though, is going to be going in towards A site, so nobody available. Lightning fast going to have to get out of dodge. Blaze King, nice.
Oh, bentar. Studio mode.
Zeta Division on their toes. You still got Laz on this bit of a lurk towards A, though, and that's what I'm keeping my eye on. The rest of them, you know, potentially trying to push into B, and then maybe Laz to swing up from behind, but with everyone pushed up this far up front, they have no idea that Polvi's down mid. It's a bit of a hairy situation for Zeta Division to be in.
No doubt. And Blaze King knew that KJ utility was going to be right there. Oh, Benkai.
Kemana?
Try. Oh, Dev. Jeez, man.
Still the shots. I mean, Dev, despite being able to get a double, I don't know if it's going to be enough. I mean, it just came down to dry duels, peeking in and out of yellow or orange. But coming back into it now, the Thrash gains all of the information. They know it's no longer going to be a B hit.
Perang ke
What
atas.
they might not know is how deep Laz is in.
30 seconds
Jab
left.
that res. Yep, and that gets the ult back as well there for Benkai. So lockdown in play. He's gonna have to get this plant down, find some safety. Have a couple vandals. You're gonna have to go deep back towards your spawn for Zeta. Try to make this work. Laz gonna maybe try to go for an early pick, but that lockdown should be coming right outside of the site here.
And would definitely force Laz back to A. Oh, in fact, it's just gonna be the Dizzy. They're actually running forward without the lockdown. There goes the first half. Baits out the peek from Deb. Well played, well shot by Benkai, and then lightning fast off of the wall finds Laz, trying to stay crouched in a corner. Global Esports now with the streak.
Yeah, they don't even need the lockdown. They're just that confident in their numbers advantage and their ability to take that space. Depp losing his trade early made it basically impossible there. GE, great patience to make sure they don't give Laz anything to work with. You know, Depp gets two, able to find some space on the other side of the map, but again, the coordination here for GE starting to look so good. Certainly the fans in India have to be liking the bounce back that we've seen so far. And my concern for Zeta Quack is I'm not seeing the combinations of the KO Gecko utility that I really like.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because you need that to support Depp in those entries, but we haven't really seen so much of it. Even in that previous round, they were just kind of dry peeking outside of B.
Jadi 5-1
You know,
gini.
with the setup from Global Esports that they had, you got multiple targets, multiple players up on elevated angles. It's just that much more difficult for Zeta Division to hit. So great setups coming out from Global Esports.
Absolutely. I really like the way they're playing. They've got a really good sense of the timing. Like, they've dodged any attempts, especially on the A side, at some of those util dumps that Zeta has tried, and then they found the opportunity to then strike right when they're kind of least expecting it. So it's a really good mental game that GE has coming into this map, on top of much better shooting. It seems like they were able to do that reset that we were talking about at the end of map 1. And that's phenomenal. That's exactly what you want to see out of this team. Couple big ults again for Zeta Division. Still that null command. Lockdown for Laz. Blades for Depp, but it is an eco. So let's see how much they're going to be willing to invest on this. There is always that lockdown as a bailout. Things start to go sideways for GE. It's like maybe a mid push for Zeta.
They want to try to see if they can get underneath, maybe go to the B site. Early alarm bot though, Def's gonna dodge. Any vision just yet, using that smoke to kind of push back Benkai.
Trying to sneak through. Benkai does have the angle.
A.
Alarm bot available as well. Okay, there's that dizzy, but no!
Bentar.
Shooting at the after image of this. It's gonna be Russ and Benkai to shut them down. Zeta Division completely lost the plot.
Transform.
Sugar Zero trying to make use of a little window, but Benkai just says, hello, you know, still gotta watch your sides. All that's left is none other than Laz with a Sheriff. A good dig on the Blaze King, though. But it's definitely not quite gonna be enough. All the
Pantes kok agak
as well.
pecah.
And just counting down the seconds to that final shot through Laz's skull. It's 6-1. Not much was going to happen in this round, but that was not what I was expecting, even with that Blaze Storm.
You have to
exactly.
think.
I didn't think he was going to go that deep. I mean, I thought he was going to sneak under tube and try to go for B. You don't see Def whip like that on the Blade Storm very often. Generally, he's pretty clean with it, but that time around, like you said, I like the way you said
6-1 gini, wek.
going for the place where they were, not where they are. But yeah, on Boiler, just so hard to get any other support. I mean, he gets the flashes this time at least, but he's not able to convert on the follow-up.
That's what you call the art of whiffing. It's not something that everyone can do. It's really difficult to pull off. But
I don't know about that.
Back into it, I think one of the things that Zeta has yet to solve is really, of course, aside from the setups, the anti-flash positions that Russ sometimes plays, and also Polvy's operator. Now trying to just full send it into the B site, along with Dap, the tailwind, they've managed to get a little bit more space. Little homie actually able to get the spike plant down this time.
Spike planted.
It's going to dodge all that utility too, so they're able to get it down and then get the Viper's Pit as well to go. But behind it, you still have a lockdown if things get really dire. Still the thrash, and there goes for Euron to really clear this out, to really make sure this is safe, but
You should run.
potentially a little bit tricky as both lockdowns come through. Def though, good
Keluar
for one.
semua anjir.
There's the two lockdowns now. Sugar Zero having to push forward. He actually able to
Diffusing,
take down
okay.
the initial lockdown from Benkai, but then you've got Russ. They've managed to kill the
No time sih harusnya
That's
sih.
enough for Zeta Division to secure the round. That's what the timeout was for. You know, although we saw, you know, a bit of a
Nice,
fumble
nice.
Nico, a bit of a fumbled Blade Storm, they managed to come in with this setup, this execute onto the B site.
And it's a must-win round for Zeta if they're going to come back in this map because of the ults they had to invest into this, right? Thrash, Viper's Pit, Lockdown, 3 huge ultimates that have to come through for them to get this on. Now they play it great. The spike is a bit outside of the Viper's Pit. Not sure if that's intentional
I think
or not.
that's intentional.
You think it's intentional? That's kind of what I've been seeing it a few times across the various regions that teams will start doing that now. And I agree. I think you can hold those angles well enough that you don't need to necessarily go that deep. And
You know, it's just spray at
that's
that
not
generic angle.
ketahuan kan?
yeah,
I even saw like the toxic.
and rely on your mollies and things like that.
Exactly. The snake bite that was shot onto it. But now back in the next round, Zeta tries to randomize and swap back
Dapet
over
dong
onto the
jetnya.
inside depth with the tailwind. But again, look at these anti-flash positions. Dizzy takes a second before, you know, the blind, the goo hits. So Russ is still able to shoot that down and snaps back onto Depp. Great response from Global Esports.
Exactly.
Selamat
protocol's
tinggal
so good.
Hero Ron.
I mean,
Selamat
Laz has
tinggal.
gotten into the kitchen, but
I mean,
Blaze at least kind of sniffing it out. Still, Laz
Nice,
able
nice,
to outdo him, not before taking a fair amount of damage.
Oh. Yeah, it's a bit of damage, but still alive enough. That's it. Him up against Polvy. When Polvy has the operator, Polvy has a better chance.
Udah, nggak usah
On a
dipik, nggak usah
retake, though, it's
dipik, nggak
going to
usah
be a
dipik.
little bit difficult. So
Ada OP,
He's playing,
nggak usah
Laz
dipik.
is sort of playing an anti-op spot, expecting this push, has tucked himself in
wow, you're right.
behind the hut. I mean, this is...
It's a bit of a crossfire too if Sugar Zero turns around.
Oh, we read it.
Nice.
You don't off.
Ambil lopi, ambil
you
lopi.
don't off the original operator. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
We've got the wall now,
you
but Russ
sing.
just sticks
Hey.
away. The wall is enough. No, you've got the mosh pit, and that takes him off of it. Sugar Zero going in for a couple more shots
Nice,
now.
nice,
Last with
nice,
the
nice,
quad
nice,
kill,
let's go.
and Zeta
Oh,
has
ambil.
managed to recover.
I mean, this is Laz taking this round over for Zeta, getting so deep into kitchen, able to get so much space and winning that really crucial battle there. The utility threw off Blaze King just enough at the exit towards the
nice,
defender
Laz.
side. of Kitchen that Laz is able to win
Nice,
that battle.
Laz.
This is
Laz,
really smart
nice.
positioning. That's Laz
Empat
just,
dia, let's
like
go.
you said, kind of, he knows how operators like to play, and he's able to read that. And
Carlos, like,
he's
I
like,
approve this.
Tenang,
match.
si
there we
Laz-nya
go. He
si
knows
Laz-nya
they're
tenang.
starting to figure it out now, but again, early in that round, GE, like you said, doing so good with their anti-flash positioning, making sure that Zeta can't really profit from this. Try to go for the orb, but not able to fully snatch it. Great opposition and a shot for
Aduh,
Volvi.
dapat smokernya
That's
dong
what
dia.
Global Esports needs now to shut down Zeta's momentum. Laz, though, up the zip
Wah,
line.
Laz
He
sih.
gets the shot onto Russ. No more anti-flash for you. You've got the barrier off to block off one of the potential paths into the site, but you still have Euron and the rest of them managing to push through. Def, use up the updraft. He goes on top of the barrier,
Nice.
but he's not needed. Euron's already done enough work on the other side. Def just to finish things off, and Zeta are very much back in the game. It's 4-6.
Scary,
Nice,
scary
nice.
for GE. It looked so good for so long. Now 3 in a row for Zeta has them right back in this thing. Maybe this would be an okay time for a timeout from GE. Try to figure out how you can adapt to what's going on. That's just
Dia
unfair.
nembak
Well, that-
begitu
well,
dapat
Laz got
dia.
the kill.
Apa
That's
sih?
unfair. That's just not fair. No other way to put it. I mean, Laz just going for the spray and pray, and it worked. So yeah, I think this is a great time here. I think GE had so many good reads, had so many good setups, so much anticipation of what Zeta was trying to accomplish. We're able to shut it down nicely, but this time around, I mean, Zeta denies the orb
Ya
early.
sekarang pot ada 2 ya.
Yeah,
Biasanya
there's a
pot
player,
1, sekarang 2.
I mean, Laz is Laz. What are you going to do against that? And what do you do? And then they're able to get deep enough that, players like, Def and Euron can really get in there and do some damage.
What are you gonna do? That's the answer that Coach Spin needs to answer, because past couple rounds now, what we've seen is that we had those anti-flash positions. We talked about it. Zeta has adjusted. You've got Laz, coming in with such antics. You've got Dep trying to throw them off, going up on top of barrier orbs or walls like that. And it just gives Zeta that
sama-sama
much
full buy
more
nih.
space
Ayo.
to work with.
Gas.
It's a little bit tougher for Global Esports to make use of that. So now they've got to come back into control. You've got to dominate the game. Throw something, a bit of a curveball at Zeta that they have to adjust back to you.
Fully agree. And another part of that timeout, I think, is to slow the momentum down, to keep Zeta from really getting heated up, because we saw it happen on Sunset once they did. Ruz gonna get spotted out. Polvi gets hit by the Dizzy, but Zeta really not able to do much other than get just a little bit further towards the pipe.
Maju,
He's gonna try to push up.
maju.
He might catch him off guard.
Untung nggak dapat dia.
But not quite gonna make it happen yet. Zeta,
Aduh, kena
maybe
timing
it was
lah.
a bit of movement inaccuracy,
Kena
but
timing kah?
But I love this. It just gives
Kena
them so much
timing
information
kah?
about what's going on the map. They know that Zeta can't push A, and they're all shifting over to B.
The situation is incredibly tense.
Oh my.
Not quite able to secure the kill. Sugar Zero just kind of
Keburu
hangs back.
dia.
Exactly. Teammates from Garage able to get the kill, but now it's up to Lightning Fast. What a tap!
Enemy remaining.
A bit of a double kill. Russ up from Snowpile 2. And that's enough for Global Esports to
NT.
secure themselves another round.
But it's just kind of one missed thing there for Zeta on their execute, and that's
Kasih ke Jetnya.
the angle that Lightning Fast is holding behind Yellow. I mean, that's all it took, and that shut the round down. Russ, the great follow-up on the back of an excellent play, as he knows that Zeta's going to have to try to push Yellow to take care of Lightning Fast, and he's right there, sort of finish the job. So again, you can see that there's no awareness of it until the player dies, and then
Dapat
Sugar Zero's
2
like,
loh.
oh. And then Benkai able to hold off the flanker. So very nicely handled here by GE. That was a really good bounce back after some rough rounds.
Especially on this B side too. Zeta hasn't really had successes at pushing past some of these choke points, especially up around
Dapat
green,
2
around
dia.
yellow. It's all thanks to Global Esports' setups. Now we're seeing an adjustments in the setups, and it works out better for Global Esports. If they can take this one 8-4 as we go into the second half, might be even better for Global Esports.
Oh yeah!
You gotta try to find a way to deal with this op. Not gonna happen.
Wah,
Walked right into it. Hiroran,
kena lagi si Hiroran
second
sama
half.
Opi.
Hiroran maybe a little bit better, but that's the thing. Initiator's gone. It's gonna be a little bit tougher for Dep to work his magic. Maybe it's just Laz who walks up by himself, and that's all it takes.
I think GE just had to destroy their own wall so they can get over
Nice,
to B where
nice,
Laz
nice.
is causing problems. Oh! He's unreal.
Okay. Whoa! Lockdown being pulled in.
Ya mati les.
It was the last round. I guess trying to get a bit of space towards bisa, or maybe
Switching
sell a bit of a
sides.
fake, but not quite enough as his teammate falls as well. So,
Win. Show me where to
second
go.
half, 8-4.
8-4,
Global
second
Esports
half.
takes the lead.
Yep. This is exactly what they needed. A great bounce back, a great read on this comp. They really understand kind of the machinations of what you're trying to do with this KO Gecko. And it doesn't quite seem like Zeta's quite there yet with this comp. They actually beat GE on Icebox
Harusnya
previously.
bisa. Aduh.
But this
Oh
time
ya,
around,
musuhnya
it
dua,
looks like
musuhnya
GE
dua
has
sentinel
really
ya.
done their homework. The Sage, I don't know how I feel about it yet. I mean, I haven't seen that wall be super effective, to be honest. But Lightning Fast has just been so good. Like, his positioning's
The
been great,
shots,
his shots have been great. So who gives a crap what he's playing? Like, he's doing really nice, and that's what matters. So I mean, I think it looks a little bit, that part of the puzzle for GE looks a little bit rough to me. But I don't think that it's a bad idea at all. I mean, I think Sage is still perfectly viable on this map. But
Soalnya
that part of
Icebox
it-
itu map attacker
doesn't
apa
matter, the rest
defender
is
sih
like
sekarang? Masalahnya
That's
di
the
mid
thing,
kebuka
we
gitu
don't really see
masalahnya.
any like exceptional grim walls or any crazy spots or whatever. It's just that setup, the defensive setup from Global Esports on their defensive half worked out well against this double initiated composition from Zeta Division. Previously, we actually saw Zeta Division playing like something interesting like a Harbor.
Yep.
They didn't bring
Harbor
it out
Viper, yeah.
this time, so
Right
I don't
there.
know. Maybe that's one of the things that kind of throws them off a little
Yoran
bit.
kena
The-
OP
the
mulu
double
dari
initiating
tadi.
isn't quite working out for them.
Yoran apa Hiroron? Hiroron
Don't
kena
see
OP-nya
that
mulu dari
combo
tadi.
utility.
Yeah, I think the Harbor Viper started to get read by the other teams as kickoff went on. So I
Right.
think absolutely you need to make a change. This is absolutely not a bad comp at all. A lot of teams in the world are running this exact same comp on this map, but it just doesn't quite feel like they've got a
Ada
real good feel.
satu,
Like you
oke.
said earlier, sometimes not able to support depth, sometimes getting caught
Main
in positions where they
main
think they've got the
3-1-1.
flash and they can push forward, but Polvy's still able to hold the
Oh
angle.
enggak,
Yeah.
midnya biar turret doang ya.
Spicy. Oh,
There was that dizzy, but the blind.
shut down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kena dong
Very easily
depnya.
Yep. It's great cover, and I mean Polvy's just expecting it. You know, the Depp trying to make some hero plays, trying to get Zeta back into things, and just reading it again is GE. They have a great feel for this map.
Both sides trying to throw jabs at each other, but Global Esports just doing a much better job at kind of slipping and getting a read for these punches being thrown at them. Now hanging back, they're waiting for a movement from Zeta to
Turret di
counter, but it's not really needed. They're just trying to play it safe.
Yeah, they're expecting a lurk from someone, whether it be Laz or Sugar Zero.
Right there.
But that information right there, really huge for Zeta to get. So Hirodon with a nicely timed knife, you can kind of really start anticipating
30 seconds
that
left.
this is going to be a, but still, nobody comfortable to fully shift over.
Oh.
It's Lightning Fast again. He's been so good.
I mean, look at how they approach the site from both sides. Some on top of
kelas di Icebox.
pipes, some
Mantap
coming
banget
up from
anjir.
the other end of 410.
Aduh, lasnya mati.
Laz now trying to hold up under
10 seconds
Heaven,
left.
and it's just not quite enough. Sugar Zero
Spike planted.
trying to sneak in. He's
Ih.
got a classic. He's got 3 targets to hit, though.
Oke, nice dapat timing.
Is it time?
You gotta put on your cape.
Half dulu.
Change your costume.
Nice.
Stick it out. Oh my god!
Oh my god.
What a connection onto Lightning Fast, but was able to extend just by a bit.
It's almost
Gets his head offline.
It's almost the same thing that happened in the last pistol, basically.
Hampir
Jeez Louise.
anjir.
Still, GE gets it. That's, I mean, again,
Wah,
they're showing
tipis itu.
great patience
Tinggal
here. They're
2-2.
really being diligent about catching Zeta off guard in the beginning of the round and making sure that Zeta doesn't get any of these flanks for free, things like that. And that was really,
Tipis itu.
really darn close. 22 HP was
Wah,
all he had
tipis
left.
itu.
One
Itu
more
tipis
bullet for
banget
that
itu.
classic and it might have been over. But Sugar Zero trying to do what he can. It's going to be a Ghost and a Marshall. Holvey, once again, with that outlaw,
Dadar.
couple Bulldogs to back him up. So, Zeta just
Ini
gambling.
jetnya
on
dari
B side.
tadi pakai
He's
sniper
been
mulu anjir.
wide open here for the side of GE and should be probably figuring that out pretty
Main
quick.
retake.
Yeah, if utility's thrown towards green or anything, Blaze King is gonna hear it. What is this? They're slowly clearing out. They're slowly doubling back in towards the B site.
Anjir serem banget anjir.
good idea.
Horror banget anjir.
Zeta still just staying tucked away.
They never read it. I mean, they felt like it was a trap on A, I think.
Anjir, anjir,
All
anjir.
the flashes being thrown. We're getting Valoranted. Zeta are landing their shots. Yudon and Hinodon with the classics actually able to land things down. And with
Menang,
the pistol, I thought it was going to be
nice.
the outlaw that he picked up. He took down Benkai, and now
Menang save
Zeta's turned
anjir,
things
bagus,
around.
bagus. Let's go.
I mean, I feel so bad for GE right now because they've been reading this map so well, and this is the one time they don't. This is the one time where they overthink it, and it costs them. Because you have they got zero
flashnya banyak
contact
banget
today,
itu.
and that gets in your head, and you're thinking it's a trap. Like they're hiding, they're playing a bunch of like anti-flash positions or something.
Admiral Akbar's
Itu sih flashnya banyak banget tadi itu buat tuh itu flash udah kayak apaan aja udah.
So, kind of an odd decision from Global Esports.
Well, that's a good start.
But they are still sharp with their shots, especially on this map. Still feeling some of those hot
Coachnya
hands.
di last nih, mati dong.
There's no Phoenix though this time. No, I mean that was. I feel for GE. I think they didn't make a bad call. It would just happen to again. There's like gambling going on both sides, and they just flip. They flipped the wrong side of the coin. Is basically what it boiled down to. So I don't think there's anything to be super concerned about. They're still hitting shots. Blaze King and Lightning Fast in particular have looked really
Serem
clean.
banget anjir.
Passes look good too. Polvy's on
Ngeri apa ngepicknya tuh ngeri.
You look pained.
Yeah, in the long run, I think that's the thing, because if you look at how Zeta Division are playing right now, the way that they're holding these defensive positions, it's so far back. Global Esports doesn't get a single lick of information. So it comes down to the executes. They make it fast, they make it heavy. It could be enough, but Wingman gets shut down. No spike plan available. You gotta play past the toxic screen too, so just swing it out. Try to find what they can get.
Aduh.
The sheriff shots managed to secure a couple of kills.
Okay, nice Dep.
Dep now with the outlaw has to come back into this
Santai,
round.
Dep,
He's got
santai,
two
Dep,
shots in the
Dep.
chamber. I don't know if that's gonna be enough though. Even the
Dep,
res
Dep.
gets a puncture on towards
Dep,
Rust.
santai, Dep.
Slow on the other side to deny this one spot. Looking to possibly pick up the weapon. Tries to mask the sound with an opening shot. Tillman's onto 410.
Dep, santai Dep.
Another cloud burst.
Line up
Still a
gas.
snake bite
Oh
as well.
iya.
Has to push through though. Oh, look at Lightning Fast. With the pistol. Dep able to spray.
Let's
Gets
go,
the
Dep.
quad kill and sticks the landing. Zeta Division. Just when you think that Global Esports might have come back into the game.
Yeah, I mean, you got to feel good about that round.
Let's
as GE
go,
doing a ton
Dep.
of damage with those sheriffs. You have some really nice plays. A really good recognition here, though, by Zeta to quickly shut down the far left angle of that wall from their POV, because that's where you know that Wingman's going to go. He's going to get, they're trying to use that edge of the wall to position the spike, and that makes Wingman go further in, so they're not able to get that plant down as quick. And if they had, that probably would have been
Siapa
round,
nih open
because
nih?
they just could have bought time.
Oh, Dep, Dep,
And
open,
instead,
oke.
it gives Dep just enough time to get in there and finish the job for Zeta.
Depnya
Man,
OP.
that was so close. So a lot of good stuff for GE, despite having a massive weapon disadvantage.
Here.
He just knows. Oh.
Aduh,
It's
miss.
really close to it too. Global Esports having some of the right ideas, but again, when it comes down to how Zeta are playing, now you've got this bit of a roadblock outside of B, the rest of them walking into A site.
Zeta's like, maybe if we leave the A side open
Opennya tuh
again,
ngeri-ngeri.
but with that operator over there, certainly they don't want to mess with it. No damage done. Either way.
Harusnya retake sih.
Don't have Wingman going through yet though. They're anticipating that Zeta might be around the corner, ready to shoot him down. Bit of fragment secures the corner, so now they managed to go through it. Polvy able to cut them off on the rotation, making sure that nobody comes through on the entry.
Oke, nice. Dapat.
Sugar Zero though, just a bit of noise, and all of a sudden Benkai has to watch his back.
They gotta keep that pressure on that backside, at least fake it, but
Okay, good thrash.
it's gonna be tough.
Sherman's still able to stick it all the way.
Through the smoke, oke.
Okay, back into it. Nobody from Global Esports is pushing now off the spike. Dep with the antics drops down, but Lightning Fast and Benkai have their boots planted firmly in the ground. Global Esports manages to defend.
Just Great stuff again from Lightning Fast. 17 and 10 right now on this Sage. It's very battle sagey. He's just so crisp.
Gila,
Shutting all
17 dia ngekill.
these attempts by Zeta on these retakes down so quickly. He's so fast. Great hold there by Polvi. Able to get up, find that opener, make it that much more difficult.
Ada itu orang.
3 kills in that round, and he's pumped up, and he should be. He is having a whale of a map.
Yeah, I want to see more lightning fast. I mean, you talk about battle sagey. That's the thing. Because he's not just, using the walls for some of these cheeky angles or anything. He's actually getting into the thick of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that maybe Zeta Division doesn't quite expect.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, I think Zeta's a lot of times getting caught off guard by the positions of GE. With certain players being pushed up further than maybe you expect. It's a lot of bait and switch. It's a lot of ping-ponging. For the side of global esports on this map, we've seen it time and time again. And that has been giving Zeta some problems. That was something they were doing pretty well on Sunset. And
Last time out dari Zeta berarti.
There's a lot of things that still feel like they need some work with this new comp that Zeta's attempting.
Precisely. It just almost feels like it's not fully fleshed out
Iko
yet. Meanwhile,
lagi.
global esports look completely prepared. They have a lot of
Nah, berarti kalau next full buy 12-nya Iko lagi dong.
to pull out. 10 to 6 right now, and with double digits secured for global esports, both sides are looking for that knockout punch.
Yeah, and if it's gonna be Zeta finding their way back into this, you feel like it has to come a little bit whiffy, but gonna have to come in the back of this Blade Storm. It almost feels like this has to be that moment where Depth kind of takes over around on this eco for Zeta.
Yeah, if it doesn't, then you're in danger of match point, or map point. So it's gonna be.
Hey, G, you heard this?
Really.
Copy killed.
Oh,
Poison's off.
That's huge.
great shot.
Padahal yang punya senjata si Sugar Zero.
Rotations being pulled over. Let's see what
Anjir,
kind
tinggi
of
banget
call
tuh.
IGL Russ makes. I guess she's just waiting for reinforcements and then the slow march forward into B.
Shoo.
Yeah, it's taken quite a while. Felt like they were looking for any other lurks, but again, wall up, able to give Wingman a little bit of safety there. That's a good wall for that plant. Really makes it difficult.
Along with Toxic Screen too.
Yes.
Retake not looking likely.
Udah di
Jump up with the tailwind. This is
udah
not
dipantekin itu.
a good angle for you.
Yeah, he's out. He doesn't have any of that.
Simple shot from Polvi. Repositions. Everyone's still holding up around yellow. Just one shot from Laz is all that Zeta got. Meanwhile, global esports devours everything.
Fantastic stuff. I mean, just absolutely, just beautiful. It takes a little bit. Zeta's able to at least get in a position, but that huge.
Wah, ini last full buy sih
Depth
harusnya.
has run out because Depth rushed over.
Habis duitnya udah itu Zeta.
Like thinking that it was going to be a really fast rotate for GE, and it just doesn't seem like Zeta has the same read on this map that they did on Sunset. It seemed like on Sunset, every maneuver that GE was trying to make was accounted for. It was red. Let's go, Blaze. Let's go.
Harusnya last full buy sih.
You guys are feeling it now, and you love to see it. So a little bit of a push to get up on top of the belt, and it's a pretty quick
Timing.
hit. Blaze.
Wah,
Oh, he gets caught.
nice,
Wow.
dapat
What a setup.
timing.
Looking a little bit better this time.
Gila. Last timing di idml-nya gila.
Strike. Gets the double.
Spike down
Spike
A.
dropped. Global esports now in a tough position between a rock and a hard place. You can't retrieve the spike.
Wah,
You
ini
can't
sih
do the
jetnya
kill.
sih
Polvi able to
OP-nya
get
bagus
maybe
ini.
a second. She's got 3 more targets to go through.
Ya,
Oh,
oke, kena
action.
timing.
Yeah, it's just tough. Depth swings out along with a teammate. No
Mantap.
collateral
Yo, Dep,
kills
bisa,
this
Dep.
time.
I thought maybe Polvi was going to get something done there. He was really crisp with that
Sama sih.
Doing a nice job, but this early kind of anticipating the pressure
Dep, bisa,
up
Dep.
mid. Set up by Laz and get it all perfect. And Laz and Dep shutting rounds down as they are wont to do when they can feel it. And a lot of teams are going to play behind that box and A like Dep just did for that anti-flash. That's the one position that I see
Careful.
left unaccounted for more than I'd like, and it's not just here. It's not just in that particular round. I've seen it a lot globally.
That's the thing. We saw a little bit of it on Sunset too. Some of these corners, it just works out so well.
Ya kalau jetnya udah disitu nggak ada yang berani. Lagi nge-pick mid lah, ngapain di-pick mid.
And it's tough, right? Because there's so many angles on that A site you have to worry about. You don't have that extra line of flashes here for GE.
Similarly to yellow on B as well. And I think that's the thing. So trying a different approach this time.
Untung
Going
gak
up
kena
from
itu.
around Pipes angle. You've got Wingman and the wall coming up. Spike plant secured. Polvi able to retrieve a weapon.
Nice
Depp
dep.
punches him down. Retake with advantages from Zeta Division now. You've got so many ultimates.
Bisa lewat ya itu ya? Nggak
Lots
bisa.
to work with. Waiting on that lockdown. Oh, lightning fast.
Time though. If lightning fast fends off for, you know, maybe one more kill. Okay. But they're not pushing in.
Swarm grenade out.
Slowly going through now. Ben trying to sneak up from behind. Russ has to stay alive, but not quite gonna make it happen. Nanoswarm able to burn off the first. Yeah, that's not enough
Defuse,
time for
defuse.
Zeta Division to secure Spike any longer.
Ultimate is ready.
And with that,
No.
Global Esports gets towards map point.
Ya mati dong.
Brilliantly played here by Benkai. I was a little bit worried that if Russ got taken down quickly, that maybe Zeta's able to kind of
Ya nggak ada duit dong berarti.
out and able to shut it down, but they're not. That tricky
Iya, bener.
positioning, as you've come to expect
Nggak ada
from Benkai,
duit.
been known for it for years.
Last roundnya nggak ada duit
And then he's able to
dong.
find that nice angle. That's a great setup, great thinking through into that post plant scenario there by GE. And Zeta never even had an iota of an idea that it was happening.
Bahkan lastnya aja cuman beli sheriff loh.
To play like a really information-starved defense, they would be able to pull something off, but doesn't quite work out. Now Depp goes in for a bit of a preemptive strike, and Global Esports has to rethink their strategy. Hanging back in, maybe looking for a bit of a punish towards...
They got the res. So they're trying to clear for it, making sure that it can't get
Untung
punished
nggak ke-detect.
easily. Yeah, nicely done.
Yuran though,
Hidup lagi dong dia.
he doesn't hear anything. Whoa! Depp getting the information now.
Aduh,
Dude, Laz not able to secure the kill.
kepala. Through the smoke gitu dia.
So good on this stage.
He pretty much saved the previous round too. Now coming back up into it. I don't even know if it's the stage necessarily. It's just his skill.
Oh,
Ya lumayan lah,
exactly.
12.
It is really just his skill.
13-7 lumayan lah. Tadi di awal 13-1
Ben
anjir
getting
luar
a
biasa.
couple more kills. They managed to push into A. And then you've got Blaze King. Sneaky all the way up around B.
They're
Zeta
gonna use that info.
Kena timing
has
kah ini?
no idea. You got 30 seconds left too, and the pressure is on. Spike back towards B.
Kena timing bener-bener.
Can at least recover that gun for Sugar Zero, potentially upgrade him to that Vandal. Yeah.
Okay.
So you got that going for you if you're Zeta, but this is gonna be a extremely difficult retake. And look at where
Great
Blaze
off
King.
angle.
Yep. He's
That's
doing
the
it
one
right back to him.
The one that Laz was playing for before. But again, I mean, the main
Corner,
factor
bang.
is time right now. 30 seconds
Ah,
left,
nice.
or so for
Dapat
Zeta.
corner.
Huron checks. You got Depp coming through garage.
Oke,
Something that they
ngecek
don't
dulu.
expect. Global Esports has no idea. Spot
Nice
simple
Dep,
taps.
dapat dia,
Maybe a
dapat
third.
timingnya Dep.
It's all too easy for Depp.
Nice, Dep.
It's just kind of like playing a stealth action video game. He's just
Dep,
kind of like
nice,
lights him
Dep.
up, lights and secures the targets, taps them all too cleanly. He's playing
Dep,
Coast Recon.
ngomong lah Dep.
He's nuts. He played Coach Rico.
Sam Fisher up in here.
Enemy kill.
He is Metal Gear Soliding. I mean, he's just. This is so unfortunate for
No,
GE.
like-
I love what they do in this round. It's just,
Dep,
you know,
Dep.
Zeta reads that position
Ngomong lah.
from Blaze King.
Diem-diem aja, Dep lah.
We know about that spot. We did it to you. And then adapt with the lurk. I mean,
That was
give him that. That's easy. That's just stat padding for Depp.
It's rounds like those that really make you believe in Zeta Division because they didn't have the numbers.
Yeah, and look at this outlaw for Depp, knowing that the money's weak, so there's going to be a lot of half armors coming through. So a couple players there, you got 3 there. Yeah, 3 for GE on half armors. So this outlaw could find a lot of value
This
with
round,
the Blade Storm, of course, as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But of course, Zeta playing a little bit
Nggak
further
dapat.
back, knowing the Thrash is available, lockdown as well. It might just come down to a bit of a retakes game. They can't let them.
Itu
get the
trashnya
lockdown
cuman buat
easily for
ngecekin
free.
corner doang, nggak
But do we
dibuat
have
sampai
things to finish
meledak.
them down? That's the thing. Hiroran tries to toss a frag.
Hancur
It
kah?
does land in place.
But I don't
Ah,
think-
hancur dong.
No,
Udah
it
kena
wasn't close
kena
enough to the
mulinya
center,
kayu.
so, right,
for the fragment to clear a lockdown, it has to be right in the
Lockdownnya
center
gacor
where the
ya.
fragment lands.
My world.
So enough space for Blaze to now deploy the Viper's Pit. And he's got
Okay,
the
nice depth.
Judge inside of that thing. That's even deadlier. Dep tries to secure the
Pakai
surroundings
Viper
of it with the
ulti.
Blaze Storm. The Outlaw cutting down Ben.
Dia ada judge, wow, udah.
Stays tucked away.
Oh, nice,
Teammates have
nice,
fallen all
nice.
around him. And all of a sudden, Herodon appears in front of his face.
Musuhnya Eko
And
harusnya
Zeta
nih.
continues
Masa
to
kalah sih
climb.
sama Eko?
It's 12 to 9 now. We've got 3 rounds to go to force this into overtime.
Yeah, Dep's starting to heat up, getting that Blade Storm
Masa kalah
kill.
sih sama
That
Eko sih? Nggak
Outlaw
layak.
Getting some value, big time, as you would need. That's so fast from Dep. And this is the first, but that's okay. Good for the second. And look at how they're using the verticality here. to get
Outlaw
up and
emang
over
paling
the
enak
positions
kalau
to try and make
lawan
sure that
musuh yang sedang
whoever's
half
still in that
armor
pit
itu.
is not going to have an easy time of it. You're not going to just walk in there. You're going to clear all the edges, use that high ground, those angles that you can get from up there to make sure that, okay, if there's
Okay, last time
anybody left,
out
they're all in
berarti.
the pit, and then we can figure out how we're going to deal with that. You know, do a time push or throw some utility in there, whatever it takes.
That's exactly how you want to dismantle a Viper's Pit. So at this moment in time, Global Esports starting to feel that pressure. They cannot let their nerves get to them, and hence we have this timeout from Coach Spin looking for that knockout punch again to send us into
Ya,
a third match.
coachnya ada dua ya.
But
Sekarang
it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Calling a timeout at this
Boleh
point,
dua maksudnya,
Carlisle
coach.
gets to, you know,
yang di
have
dalam
a
situ.
breather as well and gets a second to think for
Biasanya kan cuma satu biasanya coach yang dibuat apa yang buat
What
ngarah-ngarahin.
can we do to counter against that?
Yeah, it's going to be tough here off this eco. No ults to speak of. So just trying to see if you can do some damage to Zeta. But the pockets of Zeta relatively deep in terms of money, so they have another buy round in them for sure. Even if this one goes, well, it wouldn't matter if this one goes sideways, they'd be done. But even if they were to take a lot of economic damage, let's put it that way, they'd be fine. So definitely, you would think that we saw it before, where Spin will take a timeout on the eco, and then it'll be the follow-up after that. But not going to be able to get into any
Dep,
ults.
jangan Dep, ntar
Really,
kena.
as they invested so much in that previous round and lost. And
Oh, nice.
Nice
Terus
angle.
penting-
I think I saw a smile at that one.
Penting mati dulu dah tuh jatnya anjir.
It's very calm. Doesn't really like explode and pop off if he celebrates.
But he's apparently a jokester. He's apparently very funny, very like Dep really. I was talking to Zeta a little bit, and Dep really likes his new players. Not ready for
Aduh,
Blaze King though, is Dep.
Dep.
Wow. That's a
Blaze
sharp
King.
flick and a half.
Yeah, pushed up further than Dep was
Aduh,
expecting.
timing.
That's gonna see that. Oh, he turned. Oh, he didn't really register it in his
No.
brain. Oh,
Are we gonna
goodness.
end this map off of a
Waduh.
thrifty and eco win? Really?
Oh,
Okay.
that's nice.
Lastnya kena timing dong.
Blocks off the plant for a second. Players trying to reposition around. You got Sugar Zero trying to wrap up from behind. But once bitten, twice shy. I feel like Russ is anticipating this now. The rest of Zeta continuing to push forward, along with that flash from Hirodon. They need to clear out yellow. The Dizzy's quick. Hirodon doubles back.
Oke, nice hero
A
Ron.
bit of a fadeaway shot. It takes down Blaze King. Timer still taken away. Russ able to deny the back. Now all you got to worry about is the front door, but Hirodon
nice,
steps
Hirodon,
up in the moment when
nice.
he is needed. That's
Dapat tadi dia
I thought after that
pas
Dizzy
mau
was done,
balik
well,
kena
that was
flash.
a great play from GE. They should win that battle probably 90% of the time. But the weaker guns proved to be the detriment to them. And Hirodon's just cracked today. I mean, he's having a whale of a day. I know on this map he's only 15 and 16, but on Sunset on that Sova he was so destructive.
Tadi lastnya tadi kena
Coming up big again.
kena timing.
For Zeta division. Oh my god.
It really just, you know, crosshair placement, the flash initially to set himself up. And then knowing, you know, the awareness to know that someone's going to swing out from the other angle.
Ya,
So
kalau tim JP itu tenang-tenang gitu orang-orang.
Nggak
nggak banyak tingkah.
For an aggressive pick.
Here.
Trying to throw Global Esports off their kilter.
It's just so brutal when players are able to do stuff like that against you. It just is so tough to overcome when they're just hitting shots like that time and time again today.
But this round, that timeout must be for this round.
Has to be.
Global Esports looking to secure this map. If they don't do it on this round, they're going to go into the next one.
Wah,
Russ
kena
sneaks up,
timing.
able to take down
Sugar
Sugar, but
Zero.
last trades. Players in position to take down B now, but Zeta has an inkling.
One suppressed.
Oh,
Really
that's
nice.
enough information too.
Yep, absolutely.
Can't put up the toxic screen because of that.
Nope. Gotta wait. But I really like what Russ did there. Walk through his own.
Sumpah
Snake
Jetnya
bite, his own
sih
team snake
apa
bite,
sih
get
si
that
Dev
kill.
sih
That's
sabar
something you
banget ya
expect
tuh ya
someone
di
to
A
do.
ya.
Trying to be quick. Oh,
Mati gak sih?
Do a lot of damage.
Oke, gak jadi ngeplan.
What?
It's okay. You can heal it. You're Sage. It's fine.
Okay, okay. But 30 seconds though, and we're still looking for the plant. Tosses it over. Now secures it. Teammates a bit of suppressive fire. They managed to stick it
Mau
through.
gimana tuh modelnya tuh?
Now you've got a mosh pit lineup.
Yeah, look at this
Where's this
lineup,
gonna go?
Larry.
Okay, and Dev has to get a bit of space
Teng
too.
teng 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 teng
Fresh
teng.
comes
Ah, ke
in,
atas. Oke.
Take a couple of shots through.
Wah, nggak
The
dapat.
flash from
Dapat
Eurodon,
satu.
but oh no, Polvi actually shuts it down with the operator. This could be it. Global Esports might just be able to secure off this round. Another shot from Polvi. It's all down to Eurodon trying to sneak up from the sides.
Wah,
Gets the angle ontowards it, but not
GG.
quite the landing. Polvi secures the kill and pulls Global Esports into a third map.
This is exactly
Beneran
what
dong
you wanna
dikasih
see
sampai
from
maghrib.
GE. A phenomenal bounce back, getting completely dismantled on Sunset, and it wasn't super easy. But frankly, in my mind, I felt like GE just had a much better read on this map. Was able to kind of read the positionings, take a little bit more map control for the most part, and make a lot better usage of their utility combos, their ping-ponging off of each other, all of those things. Yes, Zeta keeps it close through some individual heroics and things like that, but you have to feel really good. GE, when they've got a good game plan, when they've got that trust going, they look like they can absolutely take this match away from Zeta.
It's possible. I mean, they're definitely a lot more prepared on Icebox, but apart from that, the players themselves too. I mean, Lightning Fast was having a great game on this Icebox. But you know what? Our casters are going to break down all of that action, and we
Oke, satu sama.
go back to
Penentuan berarti abis ini.
Thank you so much, casters. GE is fighting. I mean, it was a close scoreline, but honestly, I felt like Global was very much in control.
Penentuan
of
berarti abis ini.
Icebox.
No, they really were. I mean, from the outset, just streaking away with the round wins over and over again. Zeta was really struggling to find a footing there for themselves. So a bit of a rough go of it here for the side of Zeta division. Clearly, still some things that they need to workshop to be able to bring this Icebox up to snuff. I like the compositional
bagus
changes,
juga
but
tuh. Post-plan
with their own, it's
47.
just a little bit better.
So here's the thing, and I don't know if it's the thing that really affected Zeta here, but picking up the KO for Hiron, it feels like he was struggling to create those openings with it. Granted that I think it was paper that said that he had like 15, 16 kills somewhere in the second half. In that first half, it feels like when they were trying to enter the site, he was just diving in, jumping around, not
dapat
really having
Rifty dari tadi.
those, blade lineups, those flashes out just to push away the defense of GE, and it feels like that really hurt the first half here for Zeta Division.
On the flip side, the addition of Sage, Global Esports
Next
adding in
map apa ya?
Sage, taking out the
Next
KO, definitely paid off that wall. That one Sage wall came in so clutch so many times, whether they were in defense or attack. And Lightning Fast here, obviously, on the Sage, just proving his mettle.
Yeah, I mean, star-studded performance here from the one, holdover from the original GE roster of last year.
Kita lihat
It
next
looks
mapnya apa.
very well put there with that Sage. Like you said, the util, I mean, a lot of the
Lekui
slows that he's
pada-
coming out with, we're finding a good amount of value. Depp was doing Depp things. He was still damn scary. But for the most part, I do agree. I think that Hiron maybe just a little bit more time on that to find just full comfort to be able to bring that one out.
It just seems like, again, there was this kind of like disconnect in a way, and there was also these points where I think like they weren't really checking their corners properly. I think you mentioned as well where Colby got flashed by the Dizzy, and then they thought,
Next
we figured out
mapnya.
that blue spot for the Jet, and they didn't. So he got a shot off with the operator. It just seems like, again, there was this holding the back of yellow, gets that triple kill on the B side. So there's these really good timings or just really good punishes from Global Esports that was just sprinkled throughout so many of these rounds.
I just really like how cohesive Global Esports looked on
Sen.
Icebox. And Depp is a total menace here. He is so good at shooting
Next map
and
dia
getting those
Sen.
kills. But when you have a team who's prepared for that, these are the results.
I mean, overall, I mean, the thing that we were talking about before we
Okay,
came into this
next map,
was,
Ascent.
are they going to be able to just shake off that really one-sided loss on the opening map of Sunset? And they absolutely were. So clearly, I mean, the game plan was very sound coming into this one. Zeta still looking uncomfortable when it comes down to Icebox, and Global feeling right at home here on this map. So I think it's good that they could be able to move past, you know, a 1-13 loss to open up a series and be able to come back in. And I think I probably should have honestly got a better read that they would be able to do that, because when we saw them after that sunset, there was smiles on stage from Spin, Big Time, you know, all the players. It almost felt like they were like, yeah, our sunset's not really there yet. We kind of expected this, but it's okay because we'll run it back on Icebox.
Honestly, attitude is everything. We've noticed, especially when it comes to VCT. You know, if your head's in the right place, that could be the thing that carries you forward across the finish line.
Yeah, I just love that because again, it just spans you that you don't really make that many mistakes when you're just yes, we got this on the second map. So I love that from GE here.
Yeah, I mean, good vibes means trust, and you kind of need to trust your teammates in these kind of situations. And, you know, I'm happy for Global Esports, but what I'm less happy about personally is we had a little game, and I hate de-ranking.
Oh, sorry.
But you like ranking up. The question was, who wins the pistol round on the second half? It was a very specific question. While I did predict Global Esports to win this, I lost this one.
As did
both
I.
did. And I hate de-ranking. I hate that.
So, okay. Can I make an argument for ourselves?
Yes,
So,
please.
yes, they lost that second pistol round, but
Kayaknya Z.
then they won the
Kayaknya Z.
eco immediately after. Global, they
Second round,
they had the advantage. They're in the anti-eco. They end up losing the Zeta division. I think that that's worse
Second
than
half
losing a
pistol
pistol
round.
round. So I think that we should just keep everybody right where they are, and I don't think that we should get moved down, because we might not have been correct, but at least we didn't blunder the advantage.
No, I agree. I feel like we definitely at least lost less RR than a full, you know, punishment of like 20 plus RR
Whatever,
there.
move us down to silver.
I'm just here smiling.
So, does this mean Asteroid
He goes
ranks
up one.
Okay.
We go down a peg.
All right. Our first plat analyst here in VCT Pacific. Oh, it's silver. I hate this so much.
I felt like they just heard that I did this, and then they're like, "We gotta win this second pistol."
The pain, the heart pain. Well, congratulations to your up rank here in Pacific.
It's okay.
You know,
always
those
run
things,
back.
it's really hard to predict something that specific, but you know what? A win's a win. Congrats.
Thank you.
So we are going to a map 3. So that's something that I can't say all of us have predicted. And it's Ascent. And historically, Ascent is a pretty good map for Zeta.
I mean, yes, but also, like, not really. I mean,
yes and no. Yes.
This is a map that, especially last year, we saw them always going to, and they were regularly picking up wins, but they were very rarely clean wins. Tons of overtimes here from Zeta Division. I mean, you think about just the monstrous amount of OTs, how many rounds they had to play to be able to scrape by wins on this map. And I mean, you can just look at kind of one of the last times that Global even played this. I think they played versus RQ, and then before that, it was versus Zeta, and that was in an overtime scenario where it was a 12-14 loss for the side of Global Esports. So we haven't seen it from them yet. So, you know, in this season from Global Esports, I'm curious to see what they have prepared for us with this squad. The only thing I can really lean on is that we're probably going to see these two players playing Jet once more.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, these two have been absolutely critical in all 3 maps. And obviously for Ascent, when you have a Jet player on Ascent, I mean, this is also a make or break agent.
So if I could just, like, you know, add it from experience and what I've seen as well from Polvi when I was, you know, just kind of researching about him when he was still playing, you know, not here in Pacific in EMEA. He actually has a lot of highlight reels that's available to watch online that he's played a lot on Ascent. So at least in terms of comfortability, he's already there. Another thing that I just kind of realized when you get that last map on Ascent, when it is Ascent, is if you're a hyper aggressive team, no matter how coordinated the opposing team can be, you can always batter into be a battering ram into a site and just brute force your way in, which is what we've last map on Ascent when it is Ascent is if you're a hyper aggressive team, no matter how coordinated the opposing team can be, you can always batter into be a battering ram into a site and just brute force your way in, which is what we've seen is the specialty of Global Esports here.
Yeah, I mean,
Global Esports here.
yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, Global, they should have a decent jumping off position going into this map. I don't have any concerns about Polvi on the Jet going into this map. I mean, this has been the the Jet map for so many years at this point. We do see a couple teams try to stray away from that, but that Jet is kind of always centric to Ascent. I mean, we had some really good performances from Polvi there on Icebox, some really nice multi-kills. He started off that first half incredibly hot for the squad. So I think that this is going to be the big head-to-head to watch, but it's going to be what's going around the Jets that, as I expect, it's going to be Jets. It's what's going around them that I'm really curious about to see from both teams. What kind of big overarching adjustments do we have, if any?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is just such an old map with a meta that we've just seen over and over again, especially from these two teams. I don't know. This is the season. This is the season where everyone's going to shift things a little bit. I mean, again, Carlisle kept saying, like, we would see surprises. I hope it wasn't only on Sunset.
Yeah, and I mean, if it's going to be the same comp, I think there's going to be a lot of struggles for Zeta Division because it feels like they just really can't click on, at least, here on that KO. And I'm looking at the stats right here. They're not really looking too hot on Ascent. Global Esports also has shown that they might be willing to bring a different composition into Ascent, which we actually haven't seen throughout Kickoff as well as Convergence from last year. So everything is up the air in terms of like how creative they can actually be coming in to this final map.
I have to ask you guys, now that we are at a 1-1 score, are your predictions still the same? And maybe how confident are you in whatever your predictions are now?
I think my prediction is still the same because even though, again, I said that the wins for Zeta have overall been rough when it comes down to Ascent, I think they, they still usually are able to get those wins. I think that for all of the players on this team, even with the rookies coming through, this is going to be a map where they have a lot of comfort. It has been a bread and butter pick for them, so I'm sure that Carlisle has just kind of maybe reinvigorated the Ascent from the past here for the squad. But taking a look, here we go. It's just back down to just standard compositions for both teams. No surprises at all.
Oh, mirror matchup, standard compositions. This is going to be really interesting. We were talking about individual.
Sama
Like this is really going to come down to your ideas. But if we wanted to, we were comparing depth and Polvi.
Picknya bisa samaan gitu anjir, gelo.
Higher on the stat board.
Yeah, I mean, he can go nuclear if he wants to do so, and he's been able to do that.
Gak ada yang pakai itu, gak ada yang pakai klub.
So definitely something to watch out for.
All right, we are going to go into map 3. Let's go over to our casters because we got ourselves a series.
Thank you very much, Victoria, Asarai, and Achilleos. Yeah, this is exactly what we've got. Same composition, but kind of like what Achilleos said, you kind of want to focus on what is happening around the Jets as well. You do have Depp and Polvi, and we are expecting great things out of them.
And I'm starting to look like there might be some kind of mid setup here for Zeta. Starting on that defender side, I'm seeing, both the flashes, if you include the paranoia in that equation, towards some kind of maybe tiles hit. I'm not sure. It looks like they're kind of thinking about it, and I think this is going to be a big-time tile scratch, especially with Laz's position there at short. Let's see if Zeta is going to be able to pull it off. But it's been sort of anticipated. That recon dart kind of out there to see if there's going to be that early push, seeing if they could catch it. Instead, it's just a pullback right now. A little bit of caution from Zeta just on the back of that one dart and not able to really pull off what they were hoping. Maybe also hoping for a mid-hit where they could counter that if GE went through there. Now they're just going to fan out across the map a bit, playing really deep on mid, though, giving up so much space here. A little bit of info with Laz, knowing that mid is relatively clear. He hasn't had any contact. That's going to give them the info that they can slide back over to that B side. Okay. They're going to be right in GE's faces.
Timing kah?
Shoot down some initial, maybe 0 points as well. Polvi already diving in. Depp trying to bypass this.
Aduh, no info.
Onto sight.
Jetnya no info.
Angles are favoring Zeta Division for the time being, so a couple of shots go their way, but Benkai comes back into trade. Oh, Circa Zero from stairs though gets shut down by Benkai too, and now it's a
wow, luar biasa shock dartnya.
To tase them both down to the ground.
Mantap Yoran, luar biasa shock dartnya.
Unbelievable stuff. But this is the Zeta we need to see. This is the Zeta we saw on Sunset, where they're reading the map incredibly well, and that's what gives them the advantage here. Laz is never really accounted for on short, and that lack of contact there.
Shock dartnya dapat 2.
What did he say? He said he was funny. He said a bad word. And that's what gives them the advantage here. Laz is never really accounted for on short, and that lack of contact there through mid, kind of just
fuck, man?
gives. What is it?
He said he was funny.
He said a bad word. I cannot repeat that
Something,
word.
man.
But
Okay,
that's okay.
but that's kind of the Zeta that
Itu
we're
turret.
starting to see again. Almost as if it's a combination of both Sunset and Icebox, getting a good read, but also playing really
nice.
defensively.
Odep.
Not necessarily overextending too much. It's just really early on. You've got the Marshall. Gonna pull it out in this skirmish. Laz has got his back.
Okay.
Fast the white swing.
Nice anti eco, nice.
And you're able to keep all the important guns. Both
Nice,
Bulldogs,
nice.
the Guardian, and a Spectre. You don't mind losing that Marshal in that round at all as Zeta Division. And yeah, Idep did a good job there. Dodging that turret. Sidestepping it just as it was activating. So he wasn't pinged by it. That gave GE a little bit of false confidence.
Harusnya bonus run lah ya.
Push forward. Try to reaggress the angle. That's fine. It's the ego. Challenge depth with the Marshal. I get lucky. He whiffs the shot and you can outdo him. But in that depth, they're able to buy enough time with his dash and his smoke to get back and wait for the reinforcements for the rest of his team. So solid start for Zeta. See if they can keep it up.
It's also precisely why the desk was kind of discussing this. That map pick and bans are really important. The fact that this is Ascent, Global is the one that left it open. Zeta gets to pick the site that they want to start on. And starting on defense on Ascent is such a big deal, given how the map is laid out. And they're just doing such a good job at kind of playing defensive. Look at the positioning from Laz. Good angle, takes down one player, and that's kind of enough damage. Because all of a sudden, the 3 players on A are prepared for that A hit.
Yeah, and that sends GE over towards the other side of the map. Maybe feeling like if they've got that Killjoy dealt with, that's going to make the B side a lot more tenable
jangan
to get into. Yeah.
pindah dulu Yuran.
We do need Pulvy to pop off in this moment.
Oh, nice.
Oh, but he just gets tapped.
30
Bit of a
seconds.
crouch. I mean, he had the outlaw, so that's what he was going for. But Yuron, impeccable performance. Now Paranoia pushes him away, but take a look at what's happening on the mini-map. Our observers caught it too. Depp going on a bit of a journey of his own. Alarmbot catches him out, so he just rendezvous to go back with his team. Lightning Fast pushes out though, and still feeling sharp.
A great flash from Russ to set him up. Oh, Depp's gonna outdo him again. Russ though, quick for the trade.
Wah, ketret mulu gini.
2-on-2. Yuron still
Ya,
has
tapi
utility,
bonus round
not to mention
sih.
Sugar Zero as well. Everything available. Meanwhile, Global Esports, they only have their positioning. Rusto with the shot. Swings out a little, catches Hiroran after hearing that flash getting popped. Sugar Zero now, Paranoia, just to buy a bit of time, a bit of safe space.
Nice.
Catches an unsuspecting Benkai, but now not enough time to defuse
No
the
time, no time.
spike.
Tapi bonus run,
Straight
bonus
into
run, bonus
Russ,
run.
and look at that sidestep. Global Esports.
And Russ is involved in every kill in that round. What a great round for him. With that flash over into the
Wah,
alley.
ngajak perang.
His teammates so nicely able to deal with the
Ronde
last cheeky positioning,
4 Odin.
trading off of his teammates, playing time very nicely.
Go, boys!
That's a round that you definitely want to see out of your IGL.
Yuran sih ronde 4 Odin sih.
Tremendous round, and he's got that no command as his follow-up prize. So, Def with the Outlaw and the Blade Storm. Of course, it's Odin time. Descent. You just know it's an inevitability.
It's match made in heaven. we don't mess with these.
Truly, this is yes.
The Guardian counter for it.
Ini
though,
Yuran
is
ronde
something
4
that we're starting
Odin
to see
sih.
now, and Yuran knows to walk away from it. You want to avoid that for sure.
An Outlaw as well could potentially be used if you felt like it, but with half armors for side of GE, Depth's Outlaw, on the other hand, could provide a ton of value, but Diligent Space Clearing Alarm Bot gone.
Kenapa
For
nggak
the side of
ditembakin
Zeta.
aja?
Gonna use the drone to really make sure that this space is safe for Polvi to push in.
Making a bit of noise too. Ooh. If Polvi does push it,
Nice
yeah.
lam, nice
Les
las.
is ready to greet, along with Yuran as well, and that Odin. So that's why Depp made a bit of noise, just to kind of bait Global Esports into peeking down this pizza/market
Ngepiknya tuh.
area. Funnels them in towards A short. as long as they can block off
Bikin
this
keringat dingin anjir
entrance, they don't
ngupiknya.
get to come in for an easy spike plant. Zeta should have this round.
And then you can pop the ult too to make this hit even harder for GE. Gonna have to wait this out or try to get it done with guns. Yeah, you got one player who can paranoia in. Oh, Russ winning that.
Good
Okay,
shot.
nice Yuran.
Yuran from behind though. Great timing with this Odin. But the double swing from Global Esports, they capture the site. They know where Yuran is. And they
Aduh,
manage to trade
Yuran
him
udah
down.
Odin
Last, the only one
padahal
left. Tries to be quick move,
Yuran.
but completely surrounded. It's Global Esports coming back in the game with a 2-2.
Yeah, phenomenal stuff here from Russ. Great work using his
Yuran
ultimate to make it
mengecewakan.
that much easier for him. Now you've got Benkai's lockdown. No answer just yet. A great recon
Odinnya
dart
nggak
there as well.
nge-kill,
Forced
say.
Laz into a bad spot where he had to try to make the drop down. Got spotted by it. Makes it even easier for Benkai to react. Everybody else is fired up, and Benkai cool as a cucumber as usual.
Always.
Always.
Just deadpan expressions. But who knows what's going on inside?
Dep. Oh my god. They know. Yep.
We've seen this
Wah, Dep sih
before.
agresif banget sih itu sih. Dep sih.
And that's also the other thing about Ascent, it's just how much have teams, figured out from each other at this point. Which is, it's imperative that Zeta Division brings new flavors, especially in this Pacific Stage 1 matchup.
Dep, Dep, Dep,
Still
santai Dep.
very much
Dep,
aware
Dep,
and in
santai, Dep.
position around this catwalk area. Global Esports bypasses it. You walk through main, a couple players coming to
Ih,
reinforce towards top mid. Door's been shut. Should be an easy spike plant any second now.
Here.
Great timing on that. Buy a little bit extra time. Take that Blade Storm
kan
temporarily.
Blazking jadi Odin juga kan, elah.
Dark has to be cleared. So it looks like a phenomenal post plant setup for GE.
Bredet Blazking.
Oh. Clean and easy. You got players up around door generator as well. Russ right underneath Hell. Pulls them back in. Third kill secured. Russ is having a good game on this map.
He's having an insane game. Absolutely. One of the best maps we've seen from him so far since his move over to this global esports squad. Just really reading the map so well right now. RGE in general. He's not really allowing any shenanigans from that Blade Storm of Depth to
Nah,
really
siapa sih
find
tadi
any
yang
value.
nyuruh Odin,
Now Depth is
Yuran
able to get into
Odin,
an op, but you do have Polvi
Odin
to counter
Odin
out.
lagi
Odin's on
dia.
both sides as well, so and then didn't need to use the lockdown for GE. The round was clean enough. They were able to find those picks early. So now they can really take their time with this. Be methodical on the map. A lot of attention in towards mid for Zeta. And now they're really crunching in towards mid. I mean, they're really expecting something to come through
Anjir,
here.
gelap anjir.
But it is sort of a feint from Global Esports where they're going to put some pressure towards B. Polvi going to see if he can catch him sneaking out. He does.
Good flick.
Ngapain
Tension brought towards mid
dimajuin?
has all been for naught. Global Esports just kind of in control of things, Throwing a couple of jabs, a couple of feints, trying to bait Zeta into peeking into
Dikit
them.
lagi tuh.
The Odin now being fired off, but it just pushes Zeta Division a little bit further away as
Ayo Yuran, bredet Yuran.
get one frag, but traded off by Polvi. The From the Shadows invested by Lightning Fast as well to secure Spike Plant.
I think Zeta might have to consider a save pretty quickly.
Sofanya pada Odin
Big
semua anjir.
guns, yeah.
That's the thing. Dep's still pressing forward though. I think he can't quite get out. Recon kind of tags him as well. Blaze King, good information. Odin is firing off. Sugar Zero a couple of kills,
Pak
but
Odinnya sih.
now when it comes down to it, you got two targets, Dep. And you've got an operator. Not an optimal situation to be in, so... Oh my god. Oh, tries to back out.
Dapet
Just the
bredetan
incoming rain
dia.
of bullets catches him in the back of his head.
They demand a fight.
Just brilliant.
Who are we to disobey?
GE so patient. It looked like it was going to be a fake towards B initially, but with that pick and then the quick decision to invest the lockdown as well.
Dapat
got the spike being
bredetan
rotated over
anjir.
They're
Itu
able to
apa
use that
sih?
from the shadows as well to really bypass any of the danger from those big guns
Itu apa
that Zeta had in
coy?
their hands. Set up for that post plant. And honestly, I think Zeta maybe should have considered the save a lot sooner on that. That was going to be a really nasty, defuse to try to go for. And you can see why. Blaze King with that Odin sitting in the back of boats, that's so tricky. Plus, he's been great with his utility to set himself up.
It's tough to flush him out of that position unless you have the numbers to really deal with it. And Zeta just didn't have that in that scenario. So, not only that, they've lost 4 rounds in a row now, people. I feel like they should be bankrupt. So, good timeout being called by Coach Carlisle, but he has. Not only that, they've lost 4 rounds in a row now, people. I feel like they should be bankrupt. So, good timeout being called by Coach Carlisle, but he has to plan for the future. And that's the thing about this map, because Global Esports are in the lead now. This actually could be the first time that Global Esports takes down Zeta Division. First time in all of Pacific.
Yeah, really starting to look that way. And in fact, it was an overtime the last time these two teams played on this map, so certainly Zeta could bounce back. But right now, again, GE on these maps, with the time and preparation that they've had in the offseason, done a really good job of kind of figuring out how they can expose the weaknesses of the way Zeta likes to play. And it felt like early on, Zeta was going to be able to read the map nicely, make some good rotations, but after that, GE's been just playing with their food. They have been just completely confusing Zeta. I don't know if they expected an op in that previous round and, things like that caught Laz off guard. So you really like the bounce back from GE.
Sometimes it's just tough to read too.
Dong, masa habis 13-1 dibalik
Just sprays it down. It is an anti-eco round, so all he's got to do is to pepper him full of holes. No shots found from Zeta Division, except for the one. Now Polby comes in. Additional information.
Masa dapat
Russ
ace
online for
nih.
the ace.
Give it to him. He's earned it. Although they might want to give it to someone else because he's already got the null command. So
True that. Give it to Blaze King.
yeah, exactly. You'd kind of like this to go to Blaze King if possible.
Just locking out those angles. Yeah, they know it's there. There's the ace.
Dikasih
Russ should be
ace.
feeling that one, popping off on the stage. 5-2, Global Esports just having a grand old time.
He's been popping off on this map. I mean, this is a tricky position to be in. Getting caught in the frag. Whoa, what a transfer there. Absolutely nasty. Grabbing that op and they're fired up now. You better believe it. All right,
Wah,
well,
kalah
this is an
5 round
important round
berturut
for Zeta.
anjir.
All these ultimates, they have to stop the bleeding.
That's what the timeout was for.
Yuran udahlah Yuran jangan Odin mulu he. Yuran
So
jangan
off of
Odin
it,
mulu
they're
dari
going
tadi.
defensive. Flashes sounded all
kalah.
throughout the lobby.
Odin lawan
Too
Odin
many
demit
kills,
kalah.
Only the one from Sugar Zero, as Global Esports expects it. They actually cut them down all the way from Catwalk. Les comes in to reinvestigate, but by this point, information's back.
Yuran yang
Global
bener
Esports
ya,
are
Yuran.
gone. In fact, they've wrapped around from A main, coming back in to secure the site.
I mean, Laz is going to have to go nuclear here. This has to be just a multi-kill.
Okay, well-timed smoke.
I think GE is, after that
Dar.
smoke, they're
No,
considering
going-
going, yeah, good, exactly. Or at least waiting this out a little bit longer.
Russ has flashes. Lightning fast as well. They're trying to make Zeta Division think. Look, they're making them sweat paper thin.
It's really smart. Now with that knife, you kind of have a pretty good idea, but you have to be so careful. You know that op is still there. Last what?
You said he was going nuclear,
Let's
and
go.
he just dropped the bomb of Global Esports.
I just,
Clean banget itu dia, anjir,
it's just unreal
clean.
what Laz can do sometimes. The guy
What on
is
earth?
just unstoppable.
Okay, let's break down how he just did it, though. Anticipating,
Crazy.
thinking that they might have doubled back into
Dapat spraynya itu.
and just because of, the things aligning for him, that Flash did
Oh,
not align.
clean
He
banget
managed to
itu.
precisely pin down each and every one of his targets.
You don't have to use any ults in that round. I mean, you get the win on the back of one of the craziest 4Ks we've seen today. Just, I don't know. What do you do? I mean, hopefully GE doesn't get too rattled by that. trying to clear open some space.
Okay.
We do get the kill off of that. Benkai able to use that Hunter's Fury on the other side of the map. A
Itu Dep, jangan maju-maju Dep, udah Dep.
little bit of a distraction, and Benkai wins a duel.
Oke Las, oke Las. Lanjut Las, terus Las. Jangan kasih kendor Las. Aduh.
Blaze King comes back in for the answer. A bit of pop flash from Hirodon now, and that's Blaze King.
Oke Las, gak apa-apa Las. Penting menang Las, gak apa-apa Las.
21 HP left, and unless there's not that much he can do. Tries to jump over to throw them off guard, but
Nice.
quite enough. He doesn't have enough health to sustain him through all that damage.
Yeah. Don't mind the idea at all, but the only thing I'm concerned about now is you lost your counter to the lockdown, the easy counter. I mean, most teams have plans, right, these days, where they know where the lockdowns are going to be placed by the defenders.
Itu
They have
banget
lineups for days. You can rely on that KO.
Timing flashnya.
In particular, a good fragment will take down that lockdown as long as it lands properly. Yeah, absolutely a good time for a timeout. Laz is getting fired up. Can't let that happen. Got to make sure you can stem the bleeding here, but Zeta starting to throw a few different looks and getting some big hero plays, but it's going to take more than that to beat this GE squad. As we saw in Icebox, you know, the good game plans, the executions, a lot crisper for GE than we saw in kickoff.
Yeah, definitely different looks from kickoff, and I think that's the biggest thing, you know, regardless of what the result is. Of course, GE fans would be hoping that Global Esports comes up with the win, but regardless, you know, it really shows that throughout that offseason, throughout Masters Madrid, throughout Paper Thin being in the elevator with all these players, everyone has, you know, worked on, you know, all of these maps. And right now, Global Esports actually look evenly matched up against Zeta Division, completely different from what we saw in kickoffs and last year.
Yep. I'm really impressed. Again, it wasn't an easy start, but
Wah, itu line up buat yang mana tuh? Buat di locknya kah?
amazing here. Trying to clear that alarm bot, I believe.
Oh enggak, oh iya, buat
Checking in,
locknya.
A lot of utility just dumped
Line
in
up buat
towards
locknya
mid.
itu.
Nobody there, nobody home. So they're going to take their time. Really spread out the map. Really try to get an idea of what Zeta's doing. See if Zeta's going to go for any kind of aggressive pushes. And nothing being given over. So you know you have a little bit of space, but it has to feel like a trap, right? Like you have to feel like they have some kind of pinch play, some kind of setup off the back of any contact they get. They were sort of defaulty. Now they're kind of shifting back into a pretty similar position.
Yodep.
So close with that off for a moment, but gonna move his way back up to heaven.
Pretty unsettling. Both sides starting out on defaults. Zeta trying to get a good read on things, but they're not finding out too
Aduh, kena
much.
timing kah tuh kayunya?
Global Esports on the other hand,
Kayaknya
exactly.
kena timing kah?
In all of these movements, there are some tiny gaps in Zeta's defenses, and it allows for Blaze to sneak into such a prime position. If someone tries to rotate over from this, he might be able to kill onto them.
Aduh, nggak kena.
So a bit of attention drop towards A short now, and then lures
Bener,
Hirodon
kayunya.
in towards Blaze King's
Hirodonnya
crosshairs.
kena
Suddenly,
timing.
Zeta Division feels the pressure, and both of the players try to hide inside of Hell. 10 seconds left for Global Esports to get the spike down, though, and Russ manages to get it done. Blaze King still in such a great spot, does the damage, Dep's still alive, able to shut down Polvi for the time being, tries to swing out wide, but Benkai denies him any joy. Lockdown available, but I don't think Laz is going to be able to repeat that quad kill from before.
No.
Itu tadi tukeran senjata bagaimana sih?
Time you think. Yeah, he has to.
Itu tadi tukeran senjata bagaimana sih?
Save. Just not quite enough money to feel comfortable going for it just yet. Definitely the wise play here for Laz, but just too much space given by Zeta this time.
Yeah.
Those defaults started out good, but then I'm not exactly sure, you know, what's going through the minds of Zeta in that moment when Hirodon shifts back to their spawn and he's holding that down. I mean, with all the pressure in the mid, I think they felt like that was going to be the weaker part of the map where GE might explore. But Blaze King, you know, a savvy veteran. Blaze King has been around since basically day one of Valorant, guys. Like, if you don't know, he's been playing
Previous games and everything.
He's been to international
Boom
events a long time ago.
and so on and so forth.
Exactly.
Everywhere.
This guy's smart as heck. and he ruins.
Bro, what the fuck
Zeta's
am I there,
round.
bro?
Careful checks, right? Yeah. He has
Bentar,
games
bentar, aku mau
Playing
ulang.
from a board of
settling. Both sides starting out on defaults. In all of these onto the in towards Blaze King, try to hide inside of Hell. King still in such a great spot, does the damage though, and Russ manages to get it done. Blaze King still in such a great spot, does the damage, Dep's still alive, able to shut down everywhere.
Sempat nuker senjata
This
dia.
guy's smart,
Dia.
smart as heck.
But like you mentioned, the main factor is still that too much space was given up.
Yep.
So we want to see them being a little bit more proactive, but down to the last 2 rounds of the first half now.
And to try to accomplish that, they're going to put Depp in this position at short again. Trying to use this cubby to see if he can catch anybody. Getting a little bit too ambitious, seeing if maybe GE gets a little bit overconfident from the space they were able to take in the previous round. But with Polvi there, Depp might be in trouble.
Ooh, okay, good little jiggle.
Here.
Managed to sneak away. But that's again the thing about this entire map pick is the fact that it feels a little bit defender-sided, and if you allow for Global Esports to come up with such a strong advantage, if this first half ends in an 8-4, Zeta Division might be in trouble. It's very crucial for them to come up with some wins right now. I think that's also why they're playing it really safe. They don't want to pull off any risks. If anything, minimal risk would peak at the right times.
Las, balik las, jangan dipaksa las.
Secure surprise kills like that in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, and you can see they're really trying to buy a little bit of extra time. That's a great alarm bot. Deeper than normal. That's going to catch Polvi. Give him a little bit more of information on where these plays are going.
Okay, Las, mantap, Las.
Plays it so well.
Paranoia as well. They are kind of funneled
Sudah, Las,
in
jangan
towards
dipik, Las.
alley. Las very safe.
Oke, Las,
Don't push
mantap.
up too far and he's just holding
Ayo,
it down.
ayo Las, balaskan AC-nya tadi Las. Ya.
Shut down by lightning fast in the sudden though. Oh, 5 seconds left. Blaze King has to push in. Knows one is up by Boathouse. Goes in for the
Okay,
fight
no
instead.
time.
Sugar is here, just swings,
Nice.
gets the kill. No time for Global Esports.
Yuk,
Zeta
6-6 yuk,
Division
bisa yuk.
trying to even out the score.
Yeah, there you go. And there's
6-6 bisa
a
yuk.
little bit more pressure on the map in a couple different parts. That makes their lives a little bit easier. Great awareness here from Laz. You know, had been placing his alarm bot further up towards the stairs at mid. Pulls it back this time, and yeah, now Laz is
Mulai
getting fired
gregetan
up.
dia.
Now you
Mulai
can see
gregetan dia.
a little bit of that energy, a little bit of that passion coming through for the veteran.
Yeah, that calm enemy character, you know, before that, he just doesn't do too much. He's happy, like, nice. But now, like, he has to show his final
Iya, anjir.
form. He starts to show his true
Buat
colors.
di
When
locknya.
Laz is popping off, which he doesn't,
Yeah.
his pop-offs aren't like very grandiose, but when he's popping off, things are going good.
Aduh.
Bit of a trade.
Dep.
Dude unable to take down his counterpart. But that's another surprising thing about this map so far is the fact that, you know, we might have thought, you know, the head-to-head would have been between Polvi and Dep. But instead, you know, we were seeing moments of greatness from players like Blaze King, players like Russ and Laz. Both IGLs doing so much and performing right now. Laz trying to sneak away with some of these
Nice Las.
sneaky angles.
Las,
Oh,
bagus
bit of a
banget
risk,
lagi,
right?
anjir.
Oh,
Gets away free.
how?
If he can use that lockdown, that would be huge.
Ooh,
Odin's still firing away.
so dangerous. But they're going to shut the door. This should give them, if they can clear Lightning Fast, who snuck in on the other side of it, should give them the ability to put this lockdown in.
Alright. Gotta clear Lightning Fast first, though. That's the main thing. Good jiggle again. There's the lockdown. Lightning Fast under pressure now. Forces the
Nice.
paranoia out. Stuck
Nice.
in animation. The rumbling of the Odin fires away, but Sugar Zero simply peeks out. Peak accurate moments. And with the final shot,
Dia Odin emang kambing.
secures the defuse for Zeta Division as they tie things up 6-6.
I like the attempted trickery there from GE. It's just Lightning Fast, a little too fast for his own good, where he pulled the trigger just a little bit too soon, and that gave
My
Zeta the ability to
kambing.
quickly recover and kind of figure out what to do there, where they're able to at least get a trade out of it. And then you force that flood, where they have to get through that door, back through that door, to clear that lockdown. You force those players to come through there, and Zeta knows it. They're just
Itu
able to
layar deket
crossfire.
banget anjir.
So a 6-6 half. Interestingly enough, the last time these two teams played on this map, it was 5-7 on both sides, and it went to overtime. Are we destined for yet another Zeta overtime on Ascent? Sure feels that way, doesn't it?
It definitely does. Both teams feeling equally matched right now. Of course, it's a bit of a stamina game as well. As you go into that second half, you swap sides, and Zeta Division has to attack. We've seen it before, how many executes they've got, especially when you've got players like Deb. You know, he'll do things like Tailwind and Updraft up towards the top of Generator on A site. Perhaps even into
Bang Coach,
B as well.
ngomong lah Bang Coach, jangan didiemin.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I fully agree with you, and I was going to build on what you're saying. It's one of the things that makes Depp such a good player is that he takes advantage of the terrain of the map. He's so good with that as part of his game. Now, on the other side of the coin, I really liked GE investing in that operator early on their attacker side. It put so much pressure on Zeta, forced them to play further back than they'd probably like. And that was a big part of, I think, what allowed them to string those rounds together. So let's see if Polvi can get into another early operator and really try to shut Zeta out of this half.
Especially on this defense. That's where the operator shines the most. Of course, you gotta get to that part first.
Pundaknya Dep udah berat itu sih.
Down, but blocked off by the dark cover from Sugar Zero.
Lightning fast already with the paranoia. This could be huge.
Timing kah?
Oh no.
Okay, nice cover las.
Dep just ignoring Benkai. They know they have the sight.
Look at these flanks. Oh, they're ready.
Las
There's
the second one. And he's still watching the angles. Dep has his back watching up towards the top as players try to rotate through from stairs. Blaze King able to come back in to take down both players. Still a 2-on-3 though. Hirodan tries to get further information, suppresses them at that 0 point. Global Esports takes a breather. Where could these players be positioned?
It's great info. It's going to take some fancy shooting.
And you know it's these common spots as well. Definitely one around A main Generator. They're all watching it. Perhaps into Hell too. But without the kills, without any leg room, they can't make their way into sight.
Zeta dari tadi menang pistol run terus.
Zeta Division to pick up on these entries.
Yeah, that was, again, I like the idea from Global Esports. I really do. They tried to do a really fast flank, but this time Zeta's got their heads on. Like they're so ready for this. An opening shot by Laz. I thought Lightning Fast did a pretty good job with his paranoia. He got the catch onto Depp and was instantly ready for the follow-up, but Laz just able to beat him there. You know, Laz with a Sheriff, a fearsome foe, no doubt about it. It's all classics for GE. No investment at all. One rifle for Depp in terms of the full rifle, and then a couple Bulldogs.
I think that's the thing too, is just the fact that Laz is starting to have a much better game. Not only the pathing and the entries, but Global Esports not quite able to retake now. It's the setups though again. Swinging off of turret contact, Polvi picks up the kill. That's the rifle being dropped.
It's a Phantom, yeah. They're able to get it back, but Depp a little overeager there, a little ambitious to clear that turret and pays the price, so stuck around just long enough for Polvi to punish him. Now it's going to be shift over to the other side. Laz trying to work this door. Gonna have to wait a bit. He's starting to get in. Is he going to read the position?
Has to anticipate it.
Aduh, Laz got the tag. Oh no.
Gets the shot up to Laz now. Still plays around the boxes.
Matiin
Couple of
itu
shots,
orang.
and he's just doing enough to chip them down bit by bit. The rest of the Global Esports players are still on pistols, so
Cek sama Laz
not out of the woods yet.
itu.
I thought Benkai might go through for a walkabout through B main, but instead they're just going to deathball it. See if this can get over the line with these guns that Zeta has.
Revealing area.
Double back, good recon. Oh, tiny tags with the ghost too. Timer is still ticking away. Line shots being fired down through that dark cover.
Nice.
Hirodan, another kill in. Lightning Fast trying to do as much damage as possible,
Nice.
knowing where he would be, just a bit of a pre-fired shot. Zeta picks up the second round in the second half.
It's still a tremendous ego, especially with just classics invested.
Harusnya bonus round lah, bonus round dong, jangan beli.
So many guns away, right? You're only able to keep two
Bonus round.
for the side of Zeta. So honestly, that's a pretty big
Betul
win
sekali,
for
Bunson.
Global Esports, in my opinion. Doing the best they can with
Wah.
what they had.
Bang,
And making it.
baru ronde 3 second half bang, masa Odin.
I mean, again, those setups, you know, playing off of the Killjoy turret from Benkai,
Baru ronde
Russ
3
just
second half
incredibly
bang,
safe and sharp with
udah
that concept
diodinin anjir sama Blaze King.
Global Esports are definitely making this. They're making Zeta Division work. And I talked about it before. It's this attacking side.
Gila
'Cause
kali
you need to consider some
baru
of these positions.
baru
Depp cannot
mampus.
make such risky plays like he did.
This Outlaw is going to get a ton of value. Only half armor for Laz. And everybody but Depp is below the armor threshold.
It's starting to look like Zeta are slowing things down, similar to what we saw last year. And again, in all these tiny little gaps, tiny little lapses and moments, Global Esports pushes up. Starting off with the Odin now.
Yeah, expecting the deep
Sumpah
push.
itu apa?
Eventually the shock dart comes in to clear him off that angle. But
Itu
nobody
apaan
holding
anjir
for
anjir.
Zeta. They are full on. Just going to stack the site.
Tuh,
Try
tuh.
to catch them on these
Tarung dah
entries.
tuh antar drone tuh.
This is usually pretty tricky to pull off without that other angle. But of course, with the weaponry, they have the stingers.
Aduh, nggak ada yang ngejagain main ya.
Good smoke too. This is a very interesting one. If they push downstairs, they will get clipped. But that's why most of them will try to go around the other side. Depp trying to catch him on the
Nice
Here's the
Depp.
reload.
Waduh,
5:15
mau ngedas
left in
mati.
the magazine. Hironon with that Phantom making it sing.
Weh, ayo dapat Odin. Odin ambil dong. Odinnya ambil dong, Sofa. Ambil Odin, Sofa. Nah.
Yeah, it looked
Odinnya
like it might be
diambil
pretty tricky. Like they
Yuran.
might just try to hold those angles. But Depp is no fear. See, time and time, you saw it in the previous round when he died trying to clear a turret. This round it works out because, like you said, he heard that reload as he was pushing forward.
Nah,
Was
bener-bener
able to
nih.
capitalize on the timing, and then Hiroto.
Player sofa di sini udah pasti pakai
hits
Odin
Kobe
ya.
right as he's coming out of the dash. Oh my goodness, Hiroto.
That's
Bonkers.
Oke.
it's not easy to.
Second time out dari GE.
What?
I don't, dude. That's some reflexes. That's that rookie advantage you have. Jeez, Louise.
So again, now back into it. While we do have some rookies coming through, they've got these reflexes. You got experience.
Feel-nya
players in the
beda,
form of
anjir.
Rust. You can see that he's
Apa
trying
perspektif
to command the
dari
team, delegate some
apa
tasks, and
Zeta
he's
dan
talking a lot
global
right now. This
global
timeout being
e-sport
called.
beda anjir.
Yeah, the
Yang
idea
kalau
is
Zeta
the
kayak
coaches are
lebih
gonna trust
tenang
Russ. He's
gitu
having a phenomenal
player-player.
map individually to see if he can get his team back into this one. 16, 10, and 11 is a tremendous scoreline for a KO.
Full ya.
Maybe.
Enggak.
Still some more damage to be done. Half armors
Enggak.
and a few weaker rifles with the Guardian and the Bulldog.
Itu silas nggak beli anjir.
Yudan
Oh belum. Oh belum beli tadi.
for the Odin as kind of interesting on the attacker side to see one this early. But
Kayak
the
full
money
buy.
good enough
Aduh,
now
tapi oh
for
iya abis.
Zeta. I was kinda
Harusnya
curious if
menang.
Depp was gonna maybe try to
Mereka half
dual Kobe in
armor
terms of
semua kok itu.
the opping battle on the attacker side, but Depp's just gonna stick with the rifles.
Ayo, yuk Yuran.
Fast.
Yuk Yuran.
Gonna be bullied off of his
Keluarkan
ankles.
beredetan Odinmu.
Zeta. Kind of interesting setup
Ih,
here.
Doran
Keep that
ngambat
turret
tiba-tiba
there.
darahnya tengah segitu.
an eye on that positioning at short. Now start to spread the map. Great alarm bot placement, expecting Benkai. He wants to get out on those lurks early, and Zeta knows it.
At the very least, Depp trying to stay mobile. Just trying to clear as much as possible. But Global Esports are nowhere to be found. I love that they're kind of rotating around towards tree, though, anticipating this kind of A-short push. The perfect agents to make it happen as well.
Take flight.
A lot of diligence. Be noting
Oh,
the turret.
Okay, okay. Doesn't
Just to
Depp,
make
though.
sure. Yeah, no, that's kind of interesting, and Depp's going to try to use that to his advantage. And look at how much room they're giving. Now, you still have the alarm bot, so...
Okay. Bit of a flash just to make them
30
think you're
seconds
going
left.
towards A. But it's that B-split setup.
There they go.
Now the green light is lit. Benkai, perfect position to shut them
Locknya,
down.
locknya.
Tries to stay
one
tucked
Waduh,
away under
the
logs.
one way dong.
Top flash through though, he's completely blinded, but
eh.
they didn't catch him! Benkai, a triple kill, goes in for the spray! Depp just sprays one down instead.
Udah
Lightning fast goes
dicek
in for the
dong
transfer.
locknya,
And he manages to save the run for
astaga.
Global Esports. What a play!
I love it. Benkai. I know, he wasn't allowed to have his little lurk out of B that he wanted, and instead he just tucks himself in that corner. A great one way to set him up from lightning fast as well. They never catch glimpse of him as they have to jump through that smoke, and they try to bully their way in, and almost get it. That patience, phenomenal there.
Si Blazeking dapat Odin lagi tuh.
Now, a little bit deeper into the pocketbook, Zeta have to go. Not quite at a point where they're not going to have a buy for the next round, but the Odin spam duel.
Right here.
Not going to find any value for either side, really. Shock dart as well. He's so close, he's so close.
Not quite lining it
He
up.
caught Laz with a little bit of damage, though.
True.
Consolation prize.
Back into it again. I mean, there are these rounds where we just see Zeta Division like kind of getting a good read for things, good ideas, you know, baiting some players away, trying to keep them around A short. And then the
Paranoia dong.
but it kind of
Nice.
falls apart when some of these tiny little corners aren't cleared and lightning fast gets to cut you down as you try to cross.
Salah.
He gets 3 kills. 3.
Spike down.
Now Moldy chimes back in, and it's just a feast for
Kenapa
Global
nggak ada
Esports.
nggak ada yang lewat?
Lightning fast this time, playing a little bit further back off that angle than we'd seen
Okay, right.
previously. Just able to find the spray down. Zeta not really trying to disguise their movement in that situation. Their
Tolong
turret
dong,
gets cleared on the other side
jangan
of the map.
bertumpu
And that was
di
the go signal
las
for Zeta.
semua, hey.
They think, okay, well maybe they're trying to flank, maybe they're trying to push space, so you know we probably got a couple of them over there. Let's see if we can take advantage of that. Let's see if we can use
Anjir,
the
through the
numbers
smoke
advantage
gitu
with
dapat
Lightning Fast just
3 dia, apaan deh.
There it is.
Perasaan baru temot lagi.
Lightning fast. You know, we thought that Laz was having a good game. Now he's
Baru
starting to
temot, perasaan
cool
temot
off.
lagi.
The other side is the one that's starting to heat up. Benkai, lightning fast. Russ has been just reading things all day, especially off of that previous timeout. Now, Coach Carlisle wants to have a say in this. Zeta needs to adjust something around it. Their attack, again, ideas have been good. Some tiny corners not checked. And then now, when they want to put the pedal on the metal, they want to go faster. They're not quite able to catch the right timing on it. Lightning Fast gets to cut them down as they try to cross.
Exactly.
It's always these 1 or 2 things that they're missing.
Yeah. It is those small things, and those cost you rounds at this level. You have to be so diligent. And Zeta just tries to see if they can use some speed and some timing to get over the line, but GE, of all the teams in Pacific we thought of in terms of like smarts, GE's got to be right up there. So many high IQ players in terms of Valorant game sense.
Especially this year.
Yes. Especially this year.
Amazing stuff. Zeta Division trying to adjust back around it. Trying to sneak up all the way through. Maybe a bit of a fake as the spike is actually being committed towards B. A lot of movements from them, but they don't find anything. Russ tries to punish and catch them,
Itu nggak mati.
but Yuran actually anticipates it too.
Dah Yuran, lu jangan pakai Odin lagi dah Yuran.
The B split happening right underneath our noses. You've got the from the shadows on Sugar Zero. He catches lightning
Bener kan
fast.
Yuran udah. Yuran
All of
itu
a sudden,
jangan
Global Esports
dikasih
and their
Odin.
setups have been dismantled.
Yeah, it's
Spike
unfortunate for us. I don't say that often, but Russ made a great
Yuran
read,
jangan
had
dikasih
the right
Odin dah.
positioning, just the spray was a little bit too wild, and Yuran has that big kill, that gets him fired up. They're able to keep Benkai at bay, using the combination of him and the updraft from Depp.
Apa sih
That's
kepencet mulu anjir?
basically them barreling in. Sugar Zero finds one along the way on site, and that's all she wrote. GE gonna have to go for the save at this point.
Nah bener Yuran, udah
Not
Yuran,
much
jangan
left to be done. There's enough money for another buy, sure, but
jangan beli Odin dah Yuran.
don't want to give
Beneran
away
dah.
the bank at this point. You need to hold on to that cash. There's still a lot of rounds that are likely to be played.
Good timeout from Coach Carlisle, though. Really shows. I mean, this is what Zeta was kind of missing. This is why he was the coach that's brought in for this team. They had that similar idea a couple of rounds ago to sell a bit of a fake towards A short and then B split, but something was amiss. This time, being able to get the kill on towards Russ, being able to teleport towards the back of lightning fast, securing B site, that's what they needed.
An important round. Do have the tic-tac-toe counter to that lockdown with Euron still sitting on his Hunter's Fury. Hit it on. Let's have a null command. There he goes. They're gonna pop it. They're gonna really try to bully their way in through.
Just running and gunning. Russ stays tucked away and hit it. Oh, trying to play anti-flash. Does not work out.
Aduh,
But Hello plays game.
ini
He's
mampus.
gonna get wall banged instead by Deb.
Kesel.
Did they not hear it? I don't think they heard it.
Alright. Managed to pick it
Nice
up.
las.
Global Esports just does not have an advantage at all in this situation. It's too risky to push
Market,
out of
market,
defender spawn.
Pasang
Can't quite use the lockdown. No kills going their
pasang
way. Even have that recon going right underneath
Oi.
Benji's feet. He's gonna have to back out of there.
Yeah, money's getting a little bit dire for GE and a save.
Oke, nice las.
He gets caught.
Satu lagi las. Las.
Oh,
Spawn las. Satu lagi.
Oh no.
Let's go.
With that, a
Ya bisa yuk,
flawless
bisa yuk.
pulsar
Dua lagi, dua lagi, dua
coming
lagi.
from Zeta Division. Now the smell of the game, the smell of victory slowly,
Dua
slipping
lagi,
away from
bisa.
Global Esports' grasp.
They're gonna have to make an adjustment because these mid pushes have been devastating. The
Itu
last
itu
two rounds have been mid
terus
hits
ngapain?
for Zeta. That's what's broken open this B site for them. Laz so good on these off angles, so good at keeping your flank secure, time and time again.
Ya terus tadi ngapain?
And Zeta 2 rounds away from taking this win.
Karena udah buka ya. Oke, aku buka dulu sambil nonton dikit lagi nih.
Hunter's Fury just yet for Blaze, a couple orbs away.
You don't really want to go. Oh no, Poldy!
Oh no.
It's not quite lining
Russ,
things
though.
up. Russ makes it a trade, indeed, on towards Step as well. You do have these ultimates set up for the retake, but they're trying to be a little bit proactive on it to get information as well as to deal a bit of damage towards Zeta Division. Without depth, the executes are going to be that much more difficult on the attack.
Exactly. So you're really going to have to rely on this lockdown, I think, from Laz. And I think that might be why they're thinking about, tuck it in the cubby. But look who's reading this pretty well is Russ. So smart, but I think they're sort of aware it
Waduh,
doesn't matter.
kena
It's just
Iroronya.
Good tap. Knows he's in a bit of a tough spot now. Yuran catches him out. That does show
Ayo,
that he already
kalau
had a bit
kalau
of an
menang
idea
ini
as to
next
what
next
some of
musuh
the division
half
are
ini.
about to do.
30 seconds left.
But now that he's gone, numbers evened out. Zeta
Harusnya
gets
half
to
kan?
barrel through.
Kalau ini menang
Global
Zeta
Esports just don't
musuh
quite have the numbers to
GE
reinforce
harusnya
these
half kan?
sites safely.
You'd like to see Yuran be so careful in early lockdown, anticipating this pressure. Yeah, this is a good time for it.
Tas.
Yes, you can clear it, but this buys you a little bit of time to get over.
Tas.
Okay. Trying to make sure that you get the spike
Revealing
planted
area.
safely.
You should run.
Balas dong.
Has his own lockdown now.
Yeah.
Has to push up front. They're trying to catch them by surprise along with his
Yuk,
paranoia.
yuk,
Ball back
yuk,
safe.
bredet.
Counter
Nice.
back from Yuran.
Aduh,
Pushing
nice
out at
Yuran,
the right
Yuran,
time
Yuran.
around stairs, and the trade's coming
Ih,
through. Yuran
dapet. Bisa.
looking for the final player who is detained. He actually just slips right past.
He doesn't know.
Oh god.
Eh.
Oh, not enough health. Very close to it, almost winnable for
Anjir,
Global
itu
Esports,
keditan
but
bener ya.
nonetheless, with the right ideas, with enough resources, Zeta Division pulls themselves over right to the edge of the finish line.
Gak ketahuan posisinya pas keditan itu tadi. Untung menang.
Benkai could be sitting with that detain. The other is the flick. After he got. So it works out in the end. I mean, again, Zeta anticipating.
Itu sih tadi sih kalau sampai kena sih, wah
Give him the peace sign.
nangis anjir, sumpah menangis itu tadi.
Good stuff from Zeta. They're able to
Guys,
get
itu
into
Yuran
it.
kenapa sih Odin udah dibilang jangan Odin mati.
Jet still able to find Benkai.
Kan bener kan, nggak usah bilang jangan Odin udah Yuran. Yuran dari tadi kalau pakai Odin mati pertama mulu anjir.
Great execute.
bilang jangan pakai Odin.
That guy not quite able to defend all that too well.
Oh,
What is that snap? 2 kills back to back now onto the third. Lightning Fast shuts him down, but the damage has been done. Zeta Division right up
Yuk,
towards
yuk,
the edge
yuk,
of
GG
it.
yuk. GG
Looking
yuk.
for the closing play.
GG yuk.
Lightning Fast wants to
GG
design
lah.
smokes off the
Udah lah, udah lah.
Blaze keep
Mau
pushing
bukaan nih.
First
Aduh,
heads up goes his way. A second kill now under his
Player
belt.
standing.
Lightning Fast pushing along with his teammate who has fallen now. Sugar Zero trying to stay tucked away and hidden. Buys enough time.
Oh,
No defuse available.
no time kah?
And that's gonna be
GG kah?
the end
Oke,
of
no time. Oke.
the game. Zeta Division, Sugar Zero just with the patience for it. Closes out the final
Wah,
map.
yang match pertama sih clean sih, 13-1. Satisfying anjir yang 13-1 itu.
Success on their attacker side, having really good reads. How their opponents wanted to play defense, but Zeta's just a little bit better. That final timeout really got them going, really got the tempo pushed up for Zeta. Not something we're used to seeing. At least, you know, last year Zeta.
Berarti ntar musuh Zeta yang paling berat ini Genji berarti ntar.
Or EMEA style.
Kita lihat jadwalnya dulu.
They started dialing up some fast hits.
Wikipedia
Pressure on that part of the map, and that started to throw enough chaos.
Besok ada PRX ya.
Scramble, got a couple recovery rounds
Tapi
here
jam
and there.
6 anjir, jam 6.
Tucking into that spot, and Russ having a tremendous performance here on Ascent, but
Surely.
but Zeta just enough in the tank here to get it done on Ascent. At least, you know, this time they don't have to
jam
go
6
overtime. I'm
coy.
sure they're feeling a little bit better about that.
I mean, getting that pistol and everything else along with it too, it just shows that Zeta Division started things off right, but global esports definitely a lot of improvements along the way as well. I mean, Lightning Fast had a lot of
PRX
close
jam
as
6,
that stage.
RRQ
The only
tanggal
one on this map
8 jam
So
3.
both sides showing a lot of great performances and just the sportsmanship.
Tapi
is-
sebenarnya
is
pengen
fun.
nonton Genji juga, tapi kayak
Get along pretty well.
bentarnya berarti ya pas Genji pas week 2 ya.
Certainly,
Genji PRX tanggal 13 jam 3. Apa pas itu aja?
Global esports looked really good overall today. I thought they looked improved quite a bit.
You know what? We're going to toss it over to our analytical desk to break down all of this.
Udah, kita lihat lah ya ntar Genji PRX jadinya gimana tuh ya. Itu sih pas yang di marketnya tadi sih. Bagus tadi itu. Dapat dua HS.
By Zeta Division, but honestly, GE was fighting all the way through.
Lassi kayaknya lagi on fire nih. Di week 1 dia lagi on fire dia. Bagus dia di week 1.
Again, I was talking about how Zeta, oftentimes they come into this map, they end up playing incredibly close series.
Udah yurannya tuh jangan dikasih Odin loh.
It really was that back and forth, that really neck and neck play between both of these squads.
Yuran dikasih Odin mati pertama mulu aja.
Ultimately just a bit better. I mean, typically over here in Pacific we see a lot of defenders sided advantages on.
Enggak, yang terakhir sih yang pas ke Diten itu sih. Itu sih kalau sampai mati sih, wah dihujat banyak orang anjir, udah ke Diten tapi
he kind of misplaced himself in the map, and that's where you see
yakin lah dihujat banyak orang kalau mati ke Diten
like to
itu.
spread themselves across the map, try to pinch as slowly as possible, but then create
Untung
those
loh.
lurk scenarios.
Untung dapat
One
maksud.
example of that was that tree position where here
Udah buka.
came from global esports, which
Lah,
opened up that A site,
buat,
which allowed them to get into the site and bully. I believe that was Sugar Zero and Depth. So those kind of rounds happen pretty often here for global esports.
Buat nonton nemenin sampai bukaan sampai sini dulu kali ya. Mungkin next
Teams coming away with this one, Zeta, they can hold their heads a little bit higher because they get the win, but maybe go back and
PRX maksudnya jam 6 hei.
so many moments.
Apa yang bikin jadwal jam 6?
Corners were being checked, comms were definitely getting muddied a little bit because somebody would be posted up on an
Siapa
angle,
coba
they
yang
get
bikin
killed,
jadwal jam
and then
6?
somebody else just come swooping in 2 seconds later and then just get picked off by the same person. Depp being just stuck in hell at that one round and then Polvi not realizing it, just getting
Tahu dah.
domed by him at the
Jam
end.
6 anjir.
Things like that
Besok
needs to be
PRX.
tightened up for both of these teams.
Ya lah kalau gitu terima kasih banyak ya yang udah mau nemenin chat tadi. Ada Arima dan Bang Pat juga yang udah nemenin nonton. Zeta lawan GE ya lumayan lah ya 2-1. Tapi yang awal sih 13-1 sih ngebantai banget sih itu sih. Bagus banget itu tadi yang pertama tadi 13-1. Begitu jika kalian suka dengan live stream dan gameplay, bukan gameplay, jika kalian suka dengan live stream dan reaction buat VCT di week 1 ini. PRXTI iya jam 6 ya kan. Iya. PRXTI besok jam 6. Jadwal besok itu BLD Talon jam 3. Terus T1 dan PRX jam 8 jam 6 ya jam 6 WIB. Tulisannya di sini jam 6 WIB sih. T1 PRX. Terus tanggal 8-nya RRQ tim Secret jam 3. Cara masuk roster RRQ. Aduh, aku kok nggak yakin ya RRQ lawannya berat-berat sih. Ini. Tapi nggak juga sih. Dia satu divisi sama ini. RRQ itu satu divisi sama Zeta. Ngerebutin juara 3-nya susah tuh itu. Kan kalau dari bracketnya minimal harus juara 3 tuh baru tiap grupnya baru bisa masuk ke main event. DFM. DFM kapan sih? DFM tanggal 9 masih lama. Tapi itu sih plus 14 sih. Yang bikin jauh sih itu yang 13-1 tadi sih itu sih. Yang awal 13-1 gila. Jauh sih itu sih 13-1-nya jauh sih itu.
Throw into a side, he'll give you the entirety of it, but then Laz just has these moments where I know where you're gonna be pushing at. I'm gonna get these kills myself, and then he just also explodes. So both of them did really good this entire series.
DFM tanggal 8 tanggal 9 lawan T1. Oh berarti di week 1 di minggu pertama itu yang main 2 kali itu ada tim Secret sama DRX main 2 kali. T1 Talon. Berarti yang cuma main sekali Zeta RRQ sama Gengi. Oh.
If I could just add as well, real quick, I think I remember from kickoff when he was only playing the Cypher as well.
Oh tapi RRQ week 2 main 2 kali dia. Sama Zeta juga main 2 kali. Oke lah. Plus 14 jauh sih tapi sih. Sunset map terjelek bagi global. Wah iya sih itu sih tadi Sunset 13-1 sih. Terbantai sih itu sih. Terbantai sih itu sih 13-1 tadi sih. Ya udahlah kalau gitu ntar aku mau buka nih. Aku akhirin ya. Sampai jumpa di live stream berikutnya. Dadah. Kalian mantap dah. Mantap dah Zeta mantap. Oke, dadah. Membukaan. Lapar.